live? I think we're live now. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. What up? What up, my friends, my family? What's up? We live? We good? The levels are good? Yo! Listen, what's up, chat? What's up, everybody? What's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? Your only friend these YouTube streets, PSVR2 We out here. You know, got some bad news for you guys. You know, I do say, hey, I want to appreciate you guys showing up. You know, while you're here, hit the like button. You know, hit the like button. Share this out. Consider being part of the 60 Frames No Lag family. But as you can see, it's only me and Extreme. J-Dub is not here. J Bari is not here. Blaze is not here. Ramon not here. It's just E4 and Extreme right now. Simply because I had to make the tough decisions to downsize 60 Frames No Lag. It's a tough time, but profitability margins and certain metrics from the data that I got from Microsoft Azure servers has led to this. But trust that the fidelity and content, what you expect from me as CEO of 60 Frames No Lag Incorporated, these are the tough decisions that had to be made to ensure you. This is for you. I did it for you. Technically, this is your fault. You should blame yourselves. You created this scenario where I had to make the tough choice. You are to blame for all of this because you put me into a position I didn't want to do. You did this. I am beholden to you guys. So the decision had to be made to cut staff. I wish them well. We will send them off with complimentary severance packages. They will be appropriately compensated. In the mail, I shipped them PlayStation cups and Jim Ryan cookies. And they're very delicious cookies. And they will be coming in the mail sometime in the future. We will move on from this and we will find unique ways to get 60 frames, no lag in more places. We will get 60 frames, no lag in more platforms. We are talking Twitch. We are talking Apple Podcasts. We are talking Google Podcasts. We are talking Apple TV. Wherever there's a screen, you will see my face there. My face will be everywhere. Even on the milk carton. You will not be able to buy a carton of milk without seeing this. Every box of cereal, every drive-through. When you go to the movie theaters to see the previews, the very first preview you will see is me. We will be on every screen. I will actually be your background image on every laptop. I will ensure that no one gets to create your own background image. It will be me on every screen, on every tablet. You turn on your Samsung device, your iPhone, the first thing you see is my face and 60 frames no lag. We will be everywhere. Certain considerations for profitability has led to this measure, and it has to be done.
Every screen is a PWOC screen now.
You know, that's it. Every screen is a PortalRock screen.
There you go.
Every side panel of a box, whether it's cereal, milk, eggs, Wherever you can fit a picture, I will be there. This is the plan. This. I know it's hard, but for the betterment of the program, this is the way forward. Some people's gonna be like, some people are gonna be pissed off and be like, "Oh, you think it's funny? You're joking out of time like this. Watch." You know what I'm saying? But oh man. But hey, what's going on, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers, the only friend is YouTube Streets PorterRock77. Hey. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast. We already have 185 viewers. I'm sure it's going to grow. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure you enjoyed the show. Please share this out on whatever social media application or something that you prefer. Whatever community groups, gaming groups you're in, get them all over here. Let them be part of 60 Frames No Lag. If you haven't already, please consider to be a 60 Frames No Lag family member. But either way, though, most of all, just show up. Show up, enjoy the show, critique it, be part of the conversation. That's it. Other than that, I truly appreciate you all. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. But hey, so far we got Extreme here. What's going on, my brother?
Hey man, did you fire me?
Who? No, you made the cut because I need international connections. So I had to downsize Western connections because it was redundant.
That's
so
right.
I need a redundancy. So it was too redundant having people in America. Like, how many Americans can I actually have? So gotta cut them off. Like,
that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? I can't cut off the Australian connection.
I'm the diversity hire.
Yep, there you go.
I'm black, and I speak French, so I'm a triple threat.
So you put me in a predicament to where if I would have gotten rid of you, the government would have been like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, you know what? All right, I'll keep them.
Besides, we may need to talk to some French developers at some point, right? Like,
there you go. You know what I'm saying? I am trying to acquire OT. You know what I'm saying? But that acquisition can
OT would be a great one.
There's a lot of there's a lot of governments against that and stuff like that. So
there's a lot of competition for OT.
Yeah, a lot of competition.
That's not going to be cheap.
So I'm trying. Yeah, he's not coming on the cheap. He's not coming on the cheap.
Like the way he can create those skits, like Jesus.
That right there.
I would understand if you got rid of me in order to get him.
I'm trying to get the exclusive. I'm trying to get those exclusive skits hard. Because now everybody's like, well, is those exclusive skits going to be on Xbox, fanboys? Because you can't keep it all to yourself. It's like the whole COD thing.
True.
Like, I can't make it exclusives. I can't make those skits exclusives.
Listen, PlayStation may need to lend OT to the competition so that we can. You know how competition makes everybody better. You know, like who's there on the Xbox side creating skits like OT?
Not like that.
Who's there?
So it's hard for me. So yeah, so he's like Nintendo. It's like trying to acquire Nintendo right now. But
yeah, it's very hard to get him. Very hard to get him.
But hey, brother, but how you been real quick? What you been playing, what you been doing?
Hey, listen, gaming wise, I've been good. Just tried out Tales of Arise. That just came out on the PlayStation Plus thing. Was never a game that I was going to pick up because I usually stay away from like the anime looking style games, but when it drops in your lap, you give it a shot, and I've been really enjoying it. So that's been nice. I hope that is one of those games where it starts a new chapter for me, because you have those moments, don't you, where you're like, I don't usually play one of these games. Then you try one of them and you're like, oh, okay, all right, I get it. So yeah, that's been really great. So if you guys haven't tried Tales yet, definitely give it a go. Funny enough, it's too much cutscenes. Did you notice that playing it?
Yes, I skipped a lot. Yes, it's
my goodness, bro, it's too much. Like you guys think Kojima gets like a bad rep? Like this is way more than Death Stranding.
Yes,
way more.
Yeah.
Every step there's a new cutscene, and there's a mechanic that makes you want that incentivizes you to watch them because you get like better societal connections with your people. But bro, you know what the mistake was? When you play a Mass Effect game and you bring out two party members and they have conversations during the mission, like it's just in gameplay, but they have like deep conversations. This is exactly that, except it's a cutscene. So I was like, why didn't you just make this part of the gameplay? I mean, so
that way you're doing two things at once. Yes,
exactly. Like honestly, I'm just like, they integrate some conversations, but they're like 30-second ones, and I'm like, these 3-minute long conversations you're having, they should be part of the gameplay. and then just create a system like God of War where you can auto resume where you left off, so that you don't have to pause for combat. But otherwise, man, hey, hi everybody! Everybody's saying hi to me there in the chat. Hello everyone. I'm not sure if I'm going to like tag you individually, but hi. But yeah, man, Tales of Arise, too much cutscenes. So in case people were like PlayStation fans are like, oh my god, give me a movie. I'm like, bro,
This is it. This is it.
bro,
you want a
you've done
movie?
too much.
You got
This
it.
is the line.
they overdid it. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, and I know what you mean by like the anime style games, because you don't really know. Like if you never played it, it could really turn off people. But when I played a couple, early in the PlayStation 1 gens, I really understood that it's the gameplay. And some of those anime games, like especially JRPGs, their gameplay is fantastic. It's just
Oh yeah, the gameplay is nailed.
it's just the cover of the book is so, it doesn't really, you really don't think that you would get that level of gameplay from a game like that, and it is, and I'm playing Grand Blue Fantasy, it's another anime style game, but the gameplay is phenomenal. Oh my god.
Yeah, the gameplay that was phenomenal. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you ever find it an issue that especially these female characters, they're a bit too infantilized? Like I was playing Grand Blue Fantasy, the demo,
like some of them are a bit too young. I know what you mean.
Like this girl's coming out and looking. That's actually the thing that turned me off the game. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. Like you're having this.
Like one
I
literally is a child. One
Yeah.
literally is a child, which makes sense. Which is the sorceress. I get her, but the other ones are grown. Yet they still look at
they still look 14, 15, and it just like honestly, guys, in an anime, like I watch anime, of course, but in an anime, I guess it's because it's passive. I just look past it. But I was playing the demo. I was like, I can't do this, man. I can't spend 60 hours with this character. My brain doesn't know how to handle it, because I know you're supposed to be like 18, 19, but you look 13,
you look
14.
You're like, stop.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, bro, nah. Nah.
It's just
so that's actually the thing that turned me off the game. So such a shame there.
Yeah, but that gameplay is phenomenal. I
Great
kinda
gameplay
wish,
though.
Yeah,
Great
I kind of
gameplay.
wish that like now I wish more games will like JRPGs, and I know people don't want cookie cutter stuff, or something to copy another. But I think Final Fantasy VII's gameplay where you could instantly switch between characters. I think more JRPGs need that, because Grand Blue Fantasy, every character has amazing movesets, but you can't control them all. You can only control one party leader at a given time.
Yes.
And the other three are just auto. But they're all so good, man.
Switch, right?
They're so
you
can't switch. No. And
that
they're
is so
all
weird,
so
I've tried it so many
fantastic.
times. I tried it so many times to switch between in the demo. I was like, why can't I switch?
can't,
Like
no.
every other game that even the one that Tales of Arise right now, you can switch between the battle. So I was like, why can't I switch? Like
They made it. Yeah, and it's crazy game. That game, all the characters have amazing movesets that you want to play them, and you just can't. And it's just, man, they missed an opportunity, because they created some great characters with great combat abilities that, oh man, just having your team of 4 and be able to switch between them would be absolutely amazing. But no, they lock you down to 1. And I'm like, man, that's kind of rough. All right, but anyway, so besides that, that's it. Tales of Rise.
yeah, that's it. That's it's Tales of Arise. It finally got me off of Horizon, because I was playing Forbidden West again. I fell into the trap again. Listen, Forbidden West is such a marvel, man. I'm sorry, but I was playing Final Fantasy VII demo, right? And I put it in the performance mode, and this thing looks like a Vaseline smudge all over the screen. I was like, bro, I can't. Final Fantasy VII demo is the first time where I'm like, you know what, that PS5 Pro needs to come sooner, because listen,
I'm gonna be honest.
first party,
I don't think it's the
first
Pro,
party is
man.
fine.
It's not the Pro.
First party is
I mean, it's
fine,
not the PS5.
Yeah, it's on the PS5, I know, but
I
I'm
know.
like, this stuff. Listen, Square. I was gonna make a video about it, but I was like, this is just hate, and I didn't want to put that out. But
I'm gonna wait
listen,
till the
Square
final
Enix is
product.
one of the most inconsistent publishers ever, man. Like seriously, fix your shit. Like they always want. They're like what is it? They're like PlayStation Studios, like step cousin that just can't get it right. Like I'm just like, bro, why is it that we're still having these issues? Because I remember, I played Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4 Pro, right, when it first came out. And when I played the part in the demo, the demos were sold me on it, right? Because you played the reactor section, and that was flawless. That was perfect. And then you went out into the open world, and then Section 7, and you will look at other sections, and it was just a smudgy, like flat texture, and I was like, wait, what the hell is this? Like, it was such a massive downgrade within the same title, and I was like, bro, I didn't like it. And I was like, the next time that they bring something out, I'm going to pay a lot of attention to the technical skins. So what I've found is this: indoor areas are flawless. Whatever engine they're using, whatever like performance metrics they're trying to hit, if you are indoors, it looks amazing. As soon as you go outdoors, you feel the compromises, like they weigh down on you. So I'm gonna give this one a skip as well. Listen, they still haven't fixed 16, have they?
I think it's the demo, because that's just the price of the demo. I'm hoping that the release build is improved. I'm still gonna play the game. I love Final Fantasy, but I'm gonna be honest, man. And this probably could go into the later discussion about exclusives, right? Like, it just seems like this gen, the relationship between Sony and Square Enix in terms of exclusive is just simply to say that the game's exclusive. I don't see a relationship between the two where they're trying to make the best game possible on the PS5. You know what I mean? Like the
performance of it.
Yeah, like the relationship just simply make the game exclusive on PS5, and then, for whatever time, whether it's timed exclusive or permanent, just do it. But we're not gonna do more with this relationship in terms of
I don't think they're going in-house.
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like they're really.
It doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like Square Enix is trying to be one of the best developer publishers on the platform by competing with their own first party. We're gonna show you how to use PS5, and you're gonna see our game's gonna look better than your games. I just don't sense that from Square Enix.
It's either that or it's the engine, because when you look at Decima, because that's what brought me back to Horizon, because I was like, am I going crazy? Because when I went from Horizon in quality mode to performance mode after the patches, I can barely tell the difference. Like, I can squint and look and walk right up to my TV screen and pull out a magnifying glass, and then I can see it. But then otherwise, I'm like, you can barely tell the difference. And then I'm like, okay, what about Death Stranding? Again, amazing, flawless. Then obviously the first party games doing great.
Yeah.
That engine is illegal.
And it's versatile. And you would think about it, the engine, I think, is proven to be versatile because the engine did multiplayer shooter, Shadowfall, Killzone, right?
Yeah.
It did open world, Horizon Zero Dawn, lush valleys from deserts to frozen areas to jungles. You could fly on a pterodactyl, whatever, go underwater. So very versatile. And then it's even versatile to do what Kojima wants. So I think that engine is
with the
very
Chiron
versatile.
network and asynchronous multiplayer too.
And the good part and the thing, and here's what's crazy. All right, so maybe you notice, maybe I noticed this. Let's say like Unreal Engine, right? Like when they saw when any developer uses Unreal Engine, the characters look the same. You know what I mean? Like they look the same. They have that big, bulky Gears of War looking build, whatever, right? But with the Decima engine, Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, and Killzone, the characters are different. They're not shaped the same. They have their own look. So that engine, that's what I like. That engine looks like, when you see a game, I could be like, that's an Unreal Engine game, isn't it? And 9 times out of 10, 99%, 99 out of 100 times I'm right. Because it's just, you can tell what an Unreal Engine game looks like, right? But the Decima engine is so versatile. It's pretty amazing, And I'm like, man, I don't understand. And some people talk to me, but like when I see a studio that Sony owns and they say, oh yeah, we're using Unreal Engine, I'm like, but why? Like, you got Decima.
It's probably just familiarity.
And Decima literally is probably one of the best engines, and it's in-house. And you got your own studios that probably are, you honestly do got studios in-house, especially Guerrilla, that probably know their Decima engine way more ahead than any studio on Sony that knows Unreal Engine 5. The actual optimization, the tricks of the trade. I'm pretty sure Decima engine is just locked down, like ready to go. Like,
I mean, I think they don't want to make the same mistake that EA made, where they used a Frostbite engine, which was amazing for Battlefield, and then they kind kind of mandate that across the entire portfolio, because then you turn half of Gorilla into a support studio for other people trying to get familiar with the engine. So I don't mind them using different engines, but I do think that I don't know. Since they fired the new people there, they need to put out a new team at Gorilla to just kind of like, make that engine more flexible, more, I guess, easy to understand, so that more of the studios can use it. Because as far as I know, pretty much every tentpole studio at PlayStation uses a different engine.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, and I get totally what you're saying, right? With Frostbite, right? But I don't think Frostbite proved itself to be versatile. I think they just forced it because they thought it was a good engine because of Battlefield and say, oh yeah, we can use it for everything. Well, I think with Decima, it proved to be very versatile in whatever game you want, right? And and I'm cool. And obviously, studios can do whatever. But let's say if you use Unreal Engine 5 and because it's new, you really haven't got all the best optimizations out of it. Hell, even Epic may not have the best optimizations. And then you release your game and it's good quality, but if you would have done it on Decima and realized, damn, we could have done so much more with Decima, better frame rate options, better visuals, whatever. Sometimes you have to be like, which is the best investment for the type of game we're gonna make, and the best quality we can do with PS5. But again, they're developers; they know 10 times more than me. Maybe some studios do know Unreal Engine 5. I don't know. It just seems like Unreal Engine 5 is like ahead of its time. It reminds me of Crysis. When that game came out, there was like there was no gaming platform in existence that properly ran that engine until we had to wait later on for PCs to be more powerful. That's where the whole meme goes. Oh, we have this nuclear reactor that can power the planet. Yeah, but can it run Crysis?
Yeah, Crysis. Yeah,
that was like the joke. Can it run Crysis?
Yeah,
that was
Everybody remembers that time.
All right. Okay, so I guess we're gonna kick it. Let's get ahead. I think it's good. I think in all jokes, I didn't do no layoffs, not yet. Anyway, we'll see next quarter. But it's just gonna be us two for now. Because I think it's just one of those days, right? But I'm glad Extreme is here though. I'm absolutely ecstatic because this is our favorite topic on our favorite game. This was the game of all games for us. Kill the Justice League. I'm not gonna say the S word because I don't want nobody to flag the channel once again, thinking I'm gonna do self harm. So it's just please just call it Kill the Justice League because that's what happened last time. And then I got an email from YouTube. Are you okay? Let's see if I wasn't. You think okay? Before I go, let me check my email. Like, what are you talking about? One last email check before. Listen.
Like, the YouTube support was gonna bring you back from the bridge. That's exactly who you count on.
What the hell was that? Are you okay? Here are the services that can help you. I'm like, yeah, I gotta check that one last email to see what's up. I gotta make sure my inbox is cleared out.
Well, wait. What if the one last email was you winning your lottery, like you keep saying? You finally won the $2 million. Now you're like, wait, hold on.
Hold up. Is this a trick? But then I see the emails from Nigeria. Yeah, okay.
Yes. You've got to invest $2,000.
I won the Nigerian lotto. I won the Nigerian lotto. Congratulations. But here's the thing. So I know it's just us two. Shout out to Leo Murder EU. He joined. He's now part of the 60 Frames No Lag family. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you stick around. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoy the content. I hope you enjoy everything. You won the lotto? Are you okay? Bro, if I won the lotto, y'all would know it. Y'all would know it. Yes, you would know it. I'll just say you will know. Nah, I don't know. No, I will keep it on the download because then anyway, that's all. You know what? That's all time. We're gonna go into that.
You're gonna upgrade those headphones. That's how I know. You'll be like Emmanuel, hit me up. Tell me which headphones to get.
Okay, no, I'm not doing that. I heard that's a sickness. Sound quality.
How much money do you have? You'll be like, Emmanuel, just tell me which ones. I'll be like, all right.
I could buy the company that makes the headphones. I could buy the company that makes it. Now, anyway, but
you know what he'll say? He'll be like, better than yours. That's all I want.
So, Kill the Justice League. Let me pull up this article real quick. It says something squad failed to meet Warner expectation. CFO, man, these CFOs are in style, bro. They're the new rock stars of gaming, bro. Now everyone.
Not the new CEOs.
Everything. Yeah, CFOs are in charge now. But it says CFO says games business up for a tough year compared to same period in 2023. Something Squad Kill the Justice League didn't meet Warner's expectation, according to CFO Gunnar Weidenfels. During an earnings call as subscribed by Seeking Alpha following the release of its Q4 2023 results, Weidenfeld told investors that despite being one of its key releases for this year, the low sales of Suicide Squad has set its game division up for a tough year. This year, Something Squad, one of our key video game releases in 2024, has fallen short of our expectations since its release early in the quarter, setting our game business up for a tough year-over-year comp in Q1, he said. However, Winterfields compared Something Squad's performance in its first quarter to Hogwarts Legacy, which launched last February. We are lapping the release of Hogwarts Legacy, which saw the largest portion of its very positive financial impact in the first quarter, Weidenfeld noted. In its financials, Warner highlighted the continued success of the Harry Potter title and that its revenue increased meaningfully due to its launch on Nintendo Switch during Q4. Now, are we shocked? I don't know. I'm not shocked. Are you shocked?
I am devastated.
Surprising?
You know,
are you shocked?
I am.
You didn't see this coming?
I am zapped. It's static electricity.
Are you perplexed?
Yes, exactly. I am perplexed. That's the word. I couldn't even get it out. I couldn't even get it out.
Like, what happened? Like, who doesn't want to play like King Shark?
You know, here's the thing, people. You
That's
keep
all
saying
I
that
ever
it's
wanted.
the squad. No. You keep saying it's the squad. It's not the squad. It's the game. Like, I really want people to like understand that it is the game that's the issue. Because as much as if you remember when this first came out, it was first announced. You said nobody wants to play as King Shark. Nobody wants to play these characters. That loses. Blah blah blah. And I was like, no. The premise is interesting. Let's see what happens. Right. It's what they did with it that ended up being the biggest disappointment. That's it.
I agree with what they did with it, but I also agree the characters. I think that's a big part. I think right now the industry doesn't see the obvious. They're not seeing the obvious. Like, you gotta, sometimes you gotta ride the wave, right? Like, there's a wave, and right now the wave for comic book gaming is you have all these big iconic characters, and you have gamers. They want to feel what I felt when Rocksteady made Batman. They want to.
Can I ask you, Poto?
What?
Did you watch the cutscenes or like look at anything into the story of the game?
Suicide Squad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, I said the word. Damn it. Something Squad? Yes. I actually saw some of the cutscenes, especially the Batman one. That broke my heart.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, sure.
That hurt me.
Do you trust the writers that wrote this game with the Justice League?
So the writers, so I will say this. So some of the here's the thing. So some of the writing, how can I put it? I'll use the Batman one. I don't want to do spoilers, but I'll use the Batman one. What they did was technically good. It's just I don't want that though. And what I mean by that is I don't want to sound entitled. I absolutely do. I'm not trying to project that, right? But what happened there, right? What happened there was like, this is not what gamers want. And what I mean from that is you want to sell a product and you literally deliver something most people just don't want. It's like Disney releasing the show Echo. Nobody really wants that. Like, you're delivering something and it can have great writing, but because I don't want it, it's not good. Because I'm receiving something I really don't want.
I disagree.
And hear me out. Because right now, and Square Enix, and the funny part is Square Enix made this mistake. They're trying to deliver something that majority of gamers don't want, and what they do want, they're not providing. And this was why I was going to go back. Right now, comic book gamers want to feel what Spider-Man fans felt when they played Insomniac's Spider-Man. They want to feel what I felt and many Batman fans felt when Rocksteady made Batman into a AAA game. Normally, before those two games, right? When you think about it, the first Arkham Asylum came out in 2009. That was the first one. And then after that was the eventual sequels. But ignore the sequels. We're just going to stay with Batman Arkham Asylum, 2009. It wasn't until 9 years later someone decided to release another iconic comic book character in the same level of quality. Yep. 9 years, bro. Think about that. Like, nobody thought after looking at Batman, like, oh my God, there is so many iconic comic book characters that we can repeat this. But they didn't do it for 9 years until Sony and Insomniac decided to do it. They left this huge gap of nothingness. And now Spider-Man releases, right? And here we are in 2024. And what do they decide? Let's do stuff that gamers don't want. Let's do games as a service with every Avenger. Let's do Suicide Squad with characters no one really cares about and do this game, right? There are people who are Green Lantern fans. They want their Green Lantern game. There's people who are Daredevil fans. Punisher. The crazy part is, Insomniac, they understand the assignment. That's why they got Wolverine, the next best character. And then they got X-Men. They understand the assignment. Insomniac's like, whoa, we get it. We know what you all want. So guess what? Yeah, let me get Wolverine. That's the next project. And we're not gonna stop there. Give me all the X-Men. Cyclops, Jean Grey. We're gonna fuck all this shit up. And I guarantee those games are just gonna blow up. How nobody says, oh shit. How many Green Lantern fans out there? Oh, we all Green Lantern fans. Well, shit, I got the game for you. How many Aquaman fans are out there? Nah. Let's combine 4 rejects, and we're gonna give you something what you don't want, which is kill the very superheroes that you want to see in games. Hey, we're gonna kill the people when you never got their games in the first place. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, you like Green Lantern? Nah, you're gonna see him die. That's what we're gonna give you. We want your favorite hero. Nah, we're not giving you a single player game. Shoot, you Green Lantern? You think you're gonna get to live your life as Green Lantern? Fuck no. We're going to kill him, and you're going to love it. Well, apparently they didn't love it. Ain't nobody want to do that shit.
That's the problem. Is, the reason I disagree is that we killed Joel, right? And that's not something that gamers wanted. But it was handled far better and in service of something, right? In the story. And I know many people disagree with The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of that choice. But many people have come around and, they get to see it. The thing with the Suicide Squad isn't that they kill the Justice League. It's how they do it. It's the massive plot armor that they use. Like, for example, you have an evil Green Lantern, right? From the very beginning of the game. And this guy takes you on a sightseeing tour around the city. Did he do that for every other human? Why you? You get what I mean? Like, why are you that special that you get to have all of this plot armor going on around you? Or like the Flash literally rips out Lex Luthor's heart while this guy's just standing there. And with you guys, he just has a conversation. And I'm like, why? Like, clearly you are evil. Clearly you are prepared to kill. Clearly you have killed. So why would you literally just kill people left and right? But then with these guys, 3 of which are not anything but human, you just stand there and you're like, oh, I'll just have a conversation with them. I'll tease them a little bit. See, for me, it's not the fact that they die. It's the fact that the way that they die is stupid and disrespectful, not just to the characters and not just to the audience in terms of like, oh, we are killing your favorite characters, but disrespectful to your intelligence as a human being to be like, how would this play out this way? And if you look into the whole story and the whole lore, the fact that, for example, Green Lantern, it's not that he dies, it's that his ring doesn't leave him. It's things like that where they do not care. They don't give a fuck about the lore, the story, anything that is established. We've seen the Justice League die many times in comics. So it's not the fact that they die. But the point is, when Batman kills the Justice League in one of the comics or whatever, it's handled a lot more gracefully. Like, it's handled as if he was actually going up against insurmountable odds, and he couldn't just bubble his way through it.
Okay. So I think everything you said is absolutely credible and true, but I think you're assuming most people know all that stuff you know. I don't even think gamers even bother to even find out. I think the majority of gamers would have no idea what you're talking about. I think the gamers that do know what you're talking about are either a hardcore comic book fans that they're gonna try any game no matter what, a content creator, or guys like us where we kind of like want to see the finer details to really be like, all right, what's going on? But I think for like games to be successful, you need a huge sales volume and a lot of people to get, attracted to it. I think the moment they seen the first trailer, they're like, yep, not interested. And they just don't care.
To be fair,
I don't think majority of the gamers even know.
It was a second trailer.
Yeah.
It was a second trailer. When a tank has bubble spots that you're supposed to shoot as a weak point, I was like, I'm done. That was the moment I was
the
like,
first trailer. Like the moment
I saw it was just like,
me,
there was just the characters.
Yeah, for me, the 4 characters, I'm like, wait, what? That already written it off. And I remember Jay Barry was arguing with me. I'm like, bro, I promise you, no one cares about Captain Boomerang. That's not attractive. No one's like majority is not even gonna bother.
They were trying to do a Guardians of the Galaxy. We didn't care about the Guardians of the Galaxy until the movies.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do.
That's it. But here's the thing. Here's the crazy. We'll transfer it to movies. But before they gave Guardians of the Galaxies, they made sure they pushed out Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. You know what I'm saying?
These guys pushed out Batman.
They only pushed out Batman. That's it. What are we doing here? At least Marvel, they provided, more than it wasn't simply Iron Man. All right, Guardian of the Galaxies. Like what? Like who are these guys? And where's Thor? Where's Hulk? And where's all these other hell? Not only. Before Guardians of the Galaxies, they not only released like the main characters, they released sequels and formed the Avengers. So all of that shit happened way before Guardian of the Galaxies. You know what I'm saying? These guys just went straight from Batman to Gotham Knights to everybody's like, what the fuck was this?
Hold on. You're saying the right things, but the Eternals exist. Which is another trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy group, and obviously it's part of the MCU, and it's dog shit.
But it is dog shit. But what I'm saying is, before they went on to this weird stuff, they got the core
before the experimentation, they gave you the good stuff.
Give us the stuff we want first.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
When Iron Man was first shown, right, and people when it was first introduced. People saw it as like, oh, okay, another comic book movie, kind of like Blade, which was great. Spider-Man, Batman, it wasn't this thing that it was going to be a major saga, right? Then all of a sudden we saw Iron Man. We're like, man. And then when we found out it was Robert Downey Jr., we're like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. Because I remember the feedback on that one originally. Everybody's like, Robert Downey Jr., like, what the? But he did a fantastic job. And then when the ending trailer happened, we were like, wait a minute, this is going to be huge. Now everybody's like, oh, who's next? Nobody said Eternals and Guardian of the Galaxies. Everybody was thinking the main characters. Captain America, Thor, Hulk, all the big guns. And that's literally what they did. They kept introducing major players to ultimately form the Avengers. Once that studio blew up, they're like, all right, let's expand this a little bit out. Let's show Shang-Chi. Let's do, Eternals. Let's see how Captain Marvel does and just keep expanding. All right, got it. Right now, to me, the comic book gaming for AAA is still in infancy. You got to feed what's still out there.
You got to feed the beast. Give the people what they want.
Yes, people want Daredevil. People want Punisher. People are asking Naughty Dog to do Punisher. Make that shit visceral and kill a lot of mafia guys. They want it. They want visceral. They want, especially when Neil Druckmann said, oh yeah, I would like to make a Punisher game. And everybody's like, what's stopping you? Like, you're too busy making movies or something? Get your ass in the kitchen. Start cooking. Like, I would really like to make a spaghetti dinner. Make it. Boil the
ingredients are there.
Do you need us to get the ingredients for you? Like you see what I'm saying?
You want Hello Fresh?
So after a while, right? Once you feed the beast and you pushed out your black, and luckily some people are getting it because I think a Black Panther single player is coming, Wonder Woman's coming.
But isn't Black Panther from EA?
EA, yeah, that's right. So
I almost wish it didn't exist.
Let's pray.
Honestly,
listen.
I do not.
I don't know if you're religious or you believe in any god,
or
whatever you believe.
Yeah.
You do?
But I don't think even God can save anything
Oh
from you.
shit! Like we got, let's just. I'm hoping the best. Like anybody,
My God is not that powerful.
listen. I'm hoping for the best for Blade. If you're a comic book game single player, you have my best wishes. I don't care who you make it. I am just
Okay. Let me
success.
put it this way.
I
have more faith in Blade than I do in anything EA puts out. Like EA fucked up BioWare. I'm sorry, man. Like. You fucked up BioWare.
Yes,
I'm still waiting on Dragon Age Dreadwood.
For a gas game.
Look what they did. Look what they did to Mass Effect. Look what they did to my boy.
Andromeda.
Look what they did to Mass Effect.
They should have just ended at 3.
You know what? Fuck Andromeda. I still can't get over the Mass Effect 3 ending. We're not gonna go there. But I'm telling you, that's where I felt them.
That's when you knew. That's when you knew.
No, you know what happened? I was in the backyard with my friends, right? My best friend. And he's like, I just played Mass Effect 3. And I'm like, so? And he's like, and I'm like, no, dude, you can't do this to me. And he's just giving me that look. And I'm like, stop, say something. He's like, he's giving me, you know, the look he gave, like the little side eye where you're like, you're in for a world of pain. And I'm shaking him. I'm like, stop it. What did they do? And he's like, first of all, it's shorter than you imagine. And I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. That's fine. And then he's like, the ending. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. So I want to say shout out to J-Roll. I want to say J-Roll49. He gifted a membership to Leech, $13.99. Congratulations, Leech. Thank you so much, J-Roll, for providing a gift membership. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate the support. But anyway, back to the topic. Like Insomniac, they get the assignment. They got Wolverine. So now Wolverine fans are going to be like, ooh, this is going to be good. And then because of the leak and sad, we found out through the leak, they're doing a all-out X-Men one. And now all the X-Men fans are like, man, now the X-Men fans are like, who's going to be in it? Are we going to have Cyclops? You know, are we going to have, you know, Beast? You know, who's all the characters? Who are going to be the bosses? Magneto, you know, Apocalypse. Like, if you own X-Men, that's a comic book universe in itself. Like the cast of characters for that one, it's like you could say DC, Marvel, X-Men. like that roster is huge, both villains and heroes, you know. So that opens up the door to who knows, right? And there's other characters even outside of Marvel that people are like, man, I would like. Well, start with Marvel. There's Daredevil, there's Punisher, there's Moon Knight, Ghost Rider. You know, it's just insane. And then when you go on the DC properties, they're making Monolith is making a Wonder Woman. So best of luck to that. Nothing about Green Lantern. And I will say, I don't know how this game will play out, but I think the number one game everybody wants is Superman. I see that a lot. People are wondering why are they not trying to bring probably outside of Spider-Man, the next iconic character is Superman. They're like go hand in hand, right? Yeah, I know some people talk about Superman is very challenging.
I don't like Superman
because he's too powerful.
I don't like Superman. Yeah, he's lame, bro.
He's like lame. Like
he's lame.
It's like
his power is to be better than everyone. That's literally it.
That's like it's really hard to make a game. Like what kind of side missions can you have? Oh, there's a bank robbery. You finished it in 2 seconds.
You'll pick up a cat. You know, like what are you gonna do, Superman? He's boring. Yeah, you know that's the thing. You know,
like Superman has to be like one of those intergalactic wars with the gods. Like,
I mean, if you think about it, Superman's biggest weakness is his financial troubles. Like, that's literally it. It's just he can't afford the farm. He can't afford to, like, you know, have his job and, you know, maintain his disguise.
You would think
that's it.
Just go to the center of the earth and grab all the diamonds and sell it. Like something, bro. Go lift the Titanic out the water. Like
this guy is not an entrepreneur. He doesn't think for himself. He doesn't know. He's got all this power. Can't make it buck. Like honestly, that's his biggest issue. That would be the game. The game will be straight by.
Like
and make pizza tonight.
Like how to maintain a job while saving the world. So the actual mission is the work.
Why can't you just like charge these mining companies like I don't know $1 million? Go pick up all the ore. You know you be safe wherever they can send people. Just do it for one afternoon. You'll be fine. You'll be a billionaire. You'll be done. This guy has no brain to think. That will be the game. The game will be you versus your financial troubles. trying to make your 401k. That would be it.
You get overdue. Electricity overdue, mortgage overdue.
Listen, hey, listen. In fact, forget the miners because I'll be taking jobs from people. Why doesn't he go into outer space and get asteroids that have precious metals and minerals and actually make the planet better? Like, honestly, bro.
Like, we got DC got the dumbest heroes in comic book. Like, Batman lets Joker live after he Joker just killed 500 people. Oh, you got to go to prison. He escapes from prison. Killed 500 more people. Yeah, we got to put him in prison. He escapes from prison. 500 more people die. I would be like, Batman, we might want to consider, taking him out. He's like, I can't do that because...
No, here's the thing. It's Batman.
I love Batman. But he's like, if I do that, then what stopped me from killing other people? Well, technically, you probably won't kill as much as what Joker already have. So,
hey, listen. Here's
the
thing with Batman.
I don't think you'll be okay.
No. Hey, first of all, Batman is perfect, okay? Here's the thing. It's not him. It's the whole Arkham justice system. You're in America. You have the death penalty. Why don't they kill Joker?
I don't know.
It's not Batman's fault. Like he's technically doing... Batman is doing the police's job. Somebody kill him.
Somebody killed the motherfucker already.
Somebody kill him. Like you're in America. You guys have no issue killing each other. You guys shoot like kids at primary schools.
Guess what? You can't kill the insane. I'm insane. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And he's white. Shit.
This guy. But
I bet you if the Joker was black, he wouldn't be joking for long. Let me just tell you that.
This guy, you're terrible, boy. You're gonna get me canceled now. You're gonna get me canceled. Bro.
It's true. When you think a black Joker will survive just like one encounter with the cops?
Okay, this guy's.
They shoot him for his makeup. They be like, yes. I felt threatened. Like he looked at me weird.
You see what I gotta do with? Yep, I'm gonna have to rethink my downsizing. All right.
It's like OT, come.
Hey, I'm gonna let you know. I love white people. I love black people. I love all people. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, the views expressed by Extreme and the Australian Syndicate does not necessarily reflect 60 frames.
I represent the Australian Syndicate.
Okay, that's all him. So clip him. All right. But hey, anyway, I just think ultimately, hopefully, the industry learns and understands that there is a huge movement of games that gamers want, and I'm telling you, they want their character. They want to feel that single player experience, right? Like me, I cannot wait for Wolverine. He's one of my other favorite characters. Like I'll be honest, I think the industry just simply loves me because they're doing exactly what the fuck I want. After Batman, and then I saw Spider-Man, I actually sent. I mean, I it's a joke, but I tweeted them and be like, hey, get Wolverine, get X-Men. That shit will be fire. They listened.
They're listening to you?
Yeah. I'm getting what I want.
Can you listen?
You need something? What you
need you to tweet for me.
What you need?
I need a space sci-fi game from Koei Biolog, from Santa Monica.
I heard he's already doing that. I heard he's already doing that, though. I don't know how it is.
Listen.
But I heard
you need
that
to
his game is...
because I need proof of a life.
No,
in these trying times,
yeah, but that's a rumor. That's a rumor that his next game is a space sci-fi game.
When's the last time
he put an avatar on Twitter for space thing, and then he took it down.
Listen.
Why did
that's what I need. That's what I need. But before we leave the topic, I had one more take on this, and I put it on my channel, guys. There's a video there, but I called it, something squad killed the live service. Because here's my thing. I think this game has finally killed the live service for gamers. So. No. Let me tell you specifically the type of live service. Let me tell you. Yeah, for gamers. Right. Specifically, the live service that promises that you can have a single player narrative in a live service framework. That is my particular takeaway from this. I think from now on, if you come to gamers and you say, hey, we're going to give you a single player story, but we're going to make it a live service game. After the Suicide Squad and all the games that have come before, they're like, nah, we're not believing you. What do you think of that?
Wait, say that again? Say that part again? I'm sorry.
So if you put if you promise gamers that you will have a single player narrative
Yes.
inside the game with a live service framework,
Mm.
I think that we are now at the point where like we don't believe you anymore. It'd be like when we
Oh
got to
yeah.
like loot boxes.
Yes.
When they were like, oh, loot boxes are great for gamers. They were like, you know what? We don't believe you anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I absolutely agree. Like to me, a live service single player game, it's almost contradictory, right? Because when I think of a single player game, it's like I expect a beginning, a middle, and an end. But you already telling me there is no end.
Exactly.
And I just don't know, like, and then like obviously the live service part is not just going to be expansion packs. You're going to do weird stuff, right? You're going to do dances, you're going to do money transactions, you're going to do like collectible stuff, right? But that doesn't work. I mean, it could work to a certain point, like a single play, like the way Spider-Man does it. You know, you got the suits and all that stuff, so that's cool. But that's not overly aggressive.
But that's and it's
free.
Don't continue like seasons of stories.
And it's free.
Yeah,
it's free.
Yeah.
It's within the game itself, so it's already built into the game, and it's not a continued loop that you do whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are right.
And they charge you for the DLC, so it's not really live service at all.
Yeah, and
it's just extra content.
It's just extra content, like The Witcher. You know, it's not live service.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember somebody tried to say which game was live service. I saw it on Twitter. It didn't make sense at all. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? That this is live service. Oh, he mentioned a game that because it had expansion packs that it was live service. And I was like, I forgot, man. I should have bookmarked it. It was the dumbest tweet. It was just dumb. But yeah, you're right.
But what I wanted to say also is that I honestly think that this particular realization is also hitting publishers. And I think that it has a lot to do with what happened with this PlayStation closures, right? Because apparently they canceled the the Twisted Metal one, live service game. That's a rumor from Bloomberg, and Jason Schreier is like the only one of these journalists actually worth a damn. So if we go with that, I think that's why the industry is realizing that, hey, we can tell the PlayStation story, but put it inside a live service game, it doesn't work. And if you look at Naughty Dog Factions, remember the Naughty Dog multiplayer project that had also promised that. Neil Druckmann got on stage there and said that, hey, we are going to give you a Naughty Dog story, but it's also going to be a live service game. So they canceled that, and now the Twisted Metal series. I have no idea if that was going to have the same kind of like proposition, but knowing that it comes from PlayStation, I imagine that the story was still like a big component. And I think they just keep running into the headwind of this is not possible. You're trying to take two things that are diametrically opposed, and you just can't. There's no Venn diagram where that can exist.
No, I think so. Yeah, good point. All right, so we'll see. All right, so you ready for the next topic?
I'm ready for the next topic. Let's go.
Okay. This is the big one. All right, chat. Hey, hit the like button. Hey, I truly appreciate you guys are rocking out, enjoying the show with us. All right, we got the dynamic duo, Extreme and myself. You know, we have plans to turn this podcast into a live service live service podcast. You know, so we're starting a new thing. You know,
we'll start with the monetization.
We call it PaaS, podcast as a service. And you will love it. You're gonna absolutely love it because we know that's what you want. You want some PaaS. You know, we're gonna be the first PaaS. You know, podcast as a service. This is so ridiculous. You know, like
we're gonna start monetization. We'll figure out the rest later.
We'll figure it out. We're just gonna launch it, and then we'll tell you our plan on how to maintain it later.
Exactly. We'll figure out what it means after you pay us.
But we know that's what
give us $70.
Yeah, but you have to give us the money first. All right, so let's start with this. Herman Hulse, head of PlayStation Studios. Okay, let's see. Does he have
Good old Herman.
An important update from PlayStation Studios. And I'm gonna read this. Today, Sony Interactive Entertainment initiated a reduction in our workforce, including within PlayStation Studios, and I wanted to talk about the impact that will have. These decisions have been extremely difficult, but they are necessary, and I think it's important to be transparent. The US-based studios and groups impacted by a reduction in workforce are Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, as well as our technology, creative, and support teams. In UK and European based studios, it is proposed that PlayStation Studios London studio will close in its entirety, that there will be reductions in Gorilla and Firesprite. So those are proposed actions. There are, in addition to some smaller reductions in other teams across PlayStation Studios. Our goal at PlayStation Studios has always been to make the best games for PlayStation fans, and our global community of studios represents some of the most creative and talented teams within the game industry. PlayStation 5 is in its 4th year, and we are at a stage where we need to step back and look at what our business needs. At the same time, our industry has experienced continuing and fundamental change, which affects how we all create and play games. Delivering the immersive, narrative-driven stories that PlayStation Studio is known for at the quality bar that we aspire to requires a reevaluation of how we operate. Delivering and sustaining social online experiences, allowing PlayStation gamers to explore our worlds in different ways, as well as launching games on additional devices such as PC and mobile, requires a different approach and different resources. To take on these challenges, PlayStation Studios had to grow. We have brought brilliant and successful studios into our family. We have invested in new technology and partnerships. We have recruited talent from across our industry and beyond. But growth itself is not an ambition. PlayStation Studios is committed to continually discovering ways to work together, collaborating and combining our efforts to ensure that we are able to craft games that push the boundaries of play and deliver what you expect from us. We looked at our studios and our portfolio, evaluating projects in various stages of development, and have decided that some of those projects will not move forward. I want to be clear that the decision to stop work on these projects is not a reflection on the talent or passion of team members. Our philosophy has always been to allow creative experimentation. Sometimes great ideas don't become great games. Sometimes a project is started with the best intentions before shifts within the market or industry result in a change of plan. I am deeply saddened to see talented individuals leave the company. I have so much admiration, appreciation, and respect for their work. PlayStation Studios will continue to be a creator-led organization driven by evolving our beloved franchises and bringing new gameplay experiences of the highest quality to our fans. Thank you all for your continued support. I'll just start off with a simple question. Any thoughts, Extreme?
Yeah, plenty of thoughts. First of all, this is incredibly sad, right?
It's like a elephant. Let's give it one bite at a time.
Sure. So first, I want to talk about it from the people's perspective, right? Regardless of what happens to the projects, regardless of what happens to the company's direction, we don't want to hear about layoffs. I mean, we don't want layoffs to happen where nearly 1,000 people get laid off. In different places around the world, it seems to be based differently. Hopefully, they get a great severance package. Because these are the developers that we are supposed to treasure as gamers. They're the ones that make the games for us. So there is no way that this is a good day for the business, right? At the same time, I don't know the business realities that triggered this particular shift, but I'm not going to be happy about this. I wish that whatever projects or whatever miscalculation that they made, that they had done better, not just by us as gamers, but by these people. So first, from the people's perspective, my heart goes out to them. Especially if you're working for what could be your dream studio, like a Gorilla or a Naughty Dog or an Insomniac, right? You could be like the intern that just made it in, and then suddenly you find out that your position that could have had a long career path is now cut short at this moment. Yeah, that's going to be devastating. Mm-hmm. Not to mention the financial troubles that could follow because you now are out of a job.
Yes. I think yes, and I think it's just crazy across the tech industry how many are being laid off. Combination of AI, I think, is playing a role, right? I think in this case, gas. I have a feeling that Sony is walking back on that gas strategy, and what I mean by walking back, not completely eliminating it, but I think they realized they did too much.
Yeah.
So they're doing, like, let's say, a softer approach, but they hired so many people for that what do you do with them when you're walking back the gas strategy, right? So I guess they decided to let them go. But I also think if you notice from the industry, a huge portion of savings for the company, you could say, or profit margin, or to maximize profit margin, is like firing people. You see that all the time. Like, that's why they usually do it before the quarter ends or shortly after, right? Because they're trying to maximize their profit that they do have by just laying off, so many workforce, right? Which is kind of sucky, right? So yes, so across the board, but I think, and this is an impression I'm getting just little by little, like between hearing the Q&A, the timing of these layoffs, I still wondered this, right? This brings me back to when Nintendo had their financial struggles. The company decided that the top figureheads would take major pay cuts to keep their employees, right? And I remember they did that. And that was like different compared to other companies, but their logic was they can't get rid of the people that's going to make the games, that's going to make the company successful. That's just like, you can't get rid of the talent that's supposed to create the games when the games is the very point of what makes them successful, right?
Yeah, that's your lifeblood. Yeah,
that's your lifeblood, right? Like, you need games. You want your games to help make your product successful. You want these titles to help sell your platform and stuff like that. But you're getting rid of the people that have the ability and talent to make those games, right? And then given the fact that that from a first party perspective, they seemed kind of behind in a way. Now, as a publisher, they do a phenomenal job overall because they know how to balance, hey, we know we don't have a lot of first party, but we're definitely going to make these great deals with second party and third party to continue. So that way the fan or the gamer on the PlayStation 5, they're not missing out because they have a game to play. Like right now, shit, look at Helldivers. Like, so many people are enjoying that game, and that's technically not from an actual first party studio. But no one gives a shit. Because it's amazing. And soon we're going to get Final Fantasy, things like that. So as a publisher, Sony's real smart. But they should also look back and be like, we have to reduce or limit or mitigate these times where we go a year with only one AAA game from our first party studios. Like, how can we reconcile that? We have to find a way to reconcile. And it doesn't always have to be a big AAA game. It could be a good AA game. We already seen that. Hell, we seen a simple free update with God of War, that was like a so there's many ways there's many ways to, or more DLC. Like, I guarantee if we release a nice good expansion pack to Spider-Man, or an expansion pack to God of War, an expansion pack or another expansion pack to Horizon, people will welcome that. A good quality game. It doesn't have to be 30, 50 hours. It could be 10, 15 hours, but I think little by little Sony is gaining people who are trying to maximize profit, and little by little, and it's just a sense, right? It's just such a sense that the values we saw in PlayStation, I think little by little is going away. I remember Sean Layden, and I showed the video, when he discussed about PlayStation, right? And he said that if the game needs the time and it needs the quality, then you give it the time and you give it the quality. That's what you got to do, right? I don't think they have that mindset, or they're losing that mindset little by little. I have a feeling they're losing that mindset, right? And little by little, certain people are moving up, or certain people are taking over, and they're looking at it from straight business expenses, right? And I have a feeling, this is just me. I don't want to make an outright statement. This is internally just me, but I'll say it out loud. I have a feeling little by little, Sony's like, how can we create less, but with that less, stretch it out and end up earning more? It's kind of like Rockstar. Rockstar don't make a lot of games anymore like they used to. They used to be successful due to the volume of amazing games. Like they would just release a ton of games that were amazing. Manhunt, Midnight Club, multiple Grand Theft Autos, Bully. They just kept the Warriors. They were just doing a fantastic job of releasing titles. Yes. So they just kept releasing. Hell, even Ping Pong. Remember the Ping Pong game? That was like a
I don't
launch title
remember
for
because I didn't
360.
play it, but I do remember that is one of those.
It was pretty good. It was really good though. But they just kept releasing games, and that's what made them good. And then slowly, once they started GTA 5 and made that online, and it blew up, they realized this is it. We don't have to make all these games, so we can focus on this one thing and be more successful. Vice.
They found the Superman.
Yes, and I think
it went out and they got a whole asteroid of money and it just delivered it to the headquarters.
Yeah, right. Finally, right? Like yes, no. And I have a feeling there's certain people that little by little are at Sony bigwigs and little by little entering PlayStation with that same mentality. Like we don't need to make 20, 30 games. We just need to make one or two, make it really successful, and then stretch it out to PC. Try to make it successful. Like they try to stretch out the success. Vice. Yes. Because you know what? Am I making sense?
You're making perfect sense.
Yeah. And I think Microsoft is doing the same thing. You know, like for example, Microsoft's releasing these 4 games. How much more success you expect Pentiment to be? Even granted, you released it on PlayStation, Nintendo, but like it's just not a big game. It's just not big.
I don't want to get into the Microsoft thing because I think that's like a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that I would actually I said I don't want to get into Microsoft thing. I will go backwards. When the guy who created Xbox, one of the guys that created Xbox, he was there. I think this was a King Crash video, and he talked about why he left Xbox in like the peak of the Xbox 360. And what he talked about there was precisely what you're saying. He's basically said like, hey, when we were just Xbox, we were in nothing division. So nobody cared what we did. So we had so much freedom to try and make it right. And then when the Xbox was basically a mild success, and the Xbox 360 got us through an amazing success, everybody now started paying attention to the Xbox division. And then suddenly all of these people coming in were looking at the business, not understanding the game or the gaming business, but understanding the money and trying to make it the most profitable blah 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 ever. And he was like, basically he was walled off for making the big decisions on his own that would actually make the business better. And he had to like run it by all these accountants and financial people that knew nothing about how gaming works, but they thought because like we know numbers, we should have a say in how you're spending the money. And I think when I first saw the CFO, I made a tweet about it, and I was like, yeah, this is why we need a CEO that is not the CFO. Because what's the CFO's job? It is to maximize profits. That's literally his job. Yes. So when you have him, whether that's an interim CEO or whether he's considering, because obviously this has been going on for months, right? There were emails about this in the Insomnia.
He should have never been the interim CEO. He should have never been.
Yeah, no, like honestly, that was always like when you lose the CEO and you obviously do not have a person that can, I guess, stand up because they don't have the organizational structural like power to be like, hey, this is PlayStation Studios. We have to defend these workers. We have to defend these things. Like, guess what the CFO is going to do? He's going to minimize loss and he's going to try and maximize profits. It doesn't matter whether or not that is going to be ultimately healthiest for the gaming industry because that's not his job. His job is to do it now for the next quarter, just like you said. So I definitely think they need to get somebody in there that is going to be able to say, you know what? No, we actually do need to bear some loss because guess what? We are your most profitable division, but that's a double-edged sword. Yes, Sony will put a lot of investment into PlayStation, but then they are going to have a lot of eyes on it. You know, when they spend $3 billion with Bungie, that's going to come out with additional oversight to SIE. When they spend, you know, when people, that's why I've always been against this whole keep buying publishers, they keep buying studios, certainly. Like, even people talking now about buying Arrowhead, and I'm like, why? Why do you want them to buy? Because guess what?
They're just going to lay them off anyway.
Exactly. And also the more money that any company puts in you, the more they will demand back out of you. So it is a double-edged sword. You have to balance that, right? Like, you have to be able to say like, no, Arrowhead, nah. We're just partnering with them. They're basically self-sufficient. We don't need to do anything because you want to make strategic investments. So that's the first thing. Definitely more financial people are looking into SIE, and that's why you're seeing the moves that they are making right now, where it's basically like, yeah, why didn't you just bear the cost? Clearly, this is PlayStation. It's your most successful division. You guys still make billions in profit. It's just that you don't make as many billions as your investors would like you to make, which is an issue, right? And capitalism always does this, right? It always falls upon the people at the keyboard and at the desks. It hardly ever falls upon the CFO himself or any other C-suite executive to be like, oh yeah, we are going to take the brunt of this damage. But another thing is this whole live service thing, which I think is directly related to what we just talked about, the CFOs and the money people, because they were seeing the numbers from Fortnite, they were seeing the numbers from GTA. They were like, wait a second, we know exactly how much money goes through our store to these people, right? Because when a person buys a transaction for a skin on Fortnite or whatever, the money first goes to Sony, and then Sony gives 70% of that, they move it onwards to, you know, wherever it needs to go to the publishers, right? So they know how much, you know, how many billions of dollars are going through the funnel. And then they're like, wait, why don't we just create that situation for ourselves? Not understanding that it's not in your, what is it? It's not in your wheelhouse. It's not in your culture. Clearly, they had to spend $3 billion just to be able to buy consultants that were going to tell them whether or not these were good ideas or not, right?
The most overpaid consultants in the history
Exactly.
of consulting. Yeah.
Exactly. Because Destiny 2 apparently isn't doing so you didn't buy it for Destiny. And Marathon, who the fuck knows, right? So you paid $3 billion for consultancy, and that's because that's not your wheelhouse. This would be like if Disney decided to start, I don't know, like a dairy company. It's like, cool, you clearly have the money to invest in it, but you don't know anything about dairy. You just think that it might be a cool idea. So now you need to go and buy a dairy farm, and probably people that have been in the dairy business, and you need to buy them outright so that they can consult only for you. So you spend an overwhelming amount of money for that. So the point is this: PlayStation did not know how to make live service games. And then these financial people were like, but we can see how much money live service games are making through our funnel. So why don't we have a version of this? And then people were probably like, hey, listen, we don't know which one will work because look at all the failures that have also come through our funnel. So they were like, you know what, just go and make 12 of them. And then fine, after that, that's when they bought the consultants. And guess what Bungie went? Bungie went in and they probably broke some hearts. And they were like, hey, 7 of these things are garbage. And yes, they probably said it from the trailer like Emmanuel would. Oh, by the way, sorry. So just quick intermission. Aaron, get on the podcast. Okay? Because I don't know if you know, I don't know how much you keep up with the chat, Pirog, but Aaron is just going ham in the podcast. Get on the podcast if you feel like it's so unbalanced, if you feel like people are capping, get on the podcast. It's an open house. Just have a mic and then come and talk your shit. Like, you keep talking shit in the podcast. I invited him, by the way, to the podcast, and this guy's like, no, I will need 30 minutes alone. We'll give you the time. Get on the podcast and come.
30 minutes? Like, all right, guess, but like, god damn. Like, you want to tell your whole life story in 30 minutes? But hey, I always said, this place is always an open mic.
Yeah, well, he left? Bro. Anyways, Aaron, when you listen back to this, get on the podcast next time. Because, you know, after a person talks like a lot of shit, calls you out in the chat, everything, it's like, bro.
You know what's funny?
Get on.
That's what, yeah, exactly. And I do that. And I say this. Segue, but that's why I have like an open. I just have to verify to make sure they're not no weirdos and they do something weird. But
yeah,
for the
exactly.
most part,
just
I
don't
have
say
no
stuff.
problem because it's a whole different story talking in a chat or on Twitter or on social media, and it's a whole different story when you're talking behind the mic. Completely different animal, right?
Yep. Get on the podcast whenever you can. It's always invited. You have a special VIP invitation from the Australian. Okay, if somebody stops you at the door, say the Australian sent you in.
Yeah, that's it. Fine. The Aussie.
The Aussie. But yeah, going back to what we're talking about, man. It is absolutely the live service influence. It is absolutely chasing the money, and it is absolutely disgusting that in all of this success, you know, we somehow cannot afford to find these people positions either within other parts of the studio, form new studios, or just give them a new project where they can start from scratch. You know, I don't know the business reality behind that. Hopefully going forward, there is a way where they kind of have like a rehiring, you know, kind of thing where they can bring back a lot of these people into different positions or different studios or whatever it may need to be, so that those careers can keep going, because we can't keep losing. Like, I think I've read the gaming industry has lost 7,000 people across various studios so far this year, and it's only the first 2 months. Hey, Aaron is there. So listen, mate, get on the podcast.
Oh, he's back. He's there.
He's back. He's here. Okay. He's here. Get on the podcast. But yeah, we can keep going while he gets his mic or whatever.
Yeah. Or just send me a message on Twitter, and I'll send you the link to the Discord. So I'll say this, among this impact, this reinforces people's thoughts. He says, I'm more interested in Xbox than PlayStation. Are you kidding me?
Man,
You're on every PlayStation.
Don't be a coward. Don't be a coward now. Don't be a coward now.
PlayStation topic, I'm quiet. Wait, what?
It's okay. We'll make it an Xbox topic. We'll create a third topic just for you.
My man said, I don't say nothing about PlayStation. What? Hey, yo!
What is this keyboard warriors? So you're a keyboard warrior, but you can't be a microphone warrior? Like, come on, get on. Get on the podcast.
Oh, shit, this is crazy. But,
Jesus Christ.
So, with this combined with the quarterly, Q&A, whatever, there's a huge push about, this confirms, in VR. I mean, we could address that a little bit. But overall, the outlook is, Sony's definitely gonna go day and date in PC, right? And I say this: don't write that off. I'm never gonna write off a potential business decision, because who knows what the hell these guys are thinking? Who knows what actual metrics they're using and stuff like that? There's some people who could be one of the top bosses and they're dead set on day and date PC, and they don't give a shit what information a lower level employee brings up. Some people, it just happens. There's toxic leadership. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But what I want to ask, right? And I wish there was more people here. And I would love Aaron to join and see if he has an opinion on this, because this is going to be an agnostic topic, right? Because this is a topic that would apply to any first party, Nintendo, PlayStation, or Xbox, right? Day and day PC, sure. There's potential that it can make more money for studios. And, it's the first party platform provider by putting the games day and date on PC to make a lot more money. Cool. But that's not the question I want to know. I don't want to know about, how much money the company can make. What I want to know, has day and date PC actually made the first party provider, or will make the first party provider better in terms of creating better games? And I haven't seen that. I have not seen Xbox, from a creative standpoint, from a quality standpoint of the games they release, gotten better. In fact, I can argue they got worse. I can make a better case that ever since the day they made the decision to go day and date PC, shit got worse in terms of quality. Hell, everything across the board, not just on the quality of the games, but also the console, the stuff they just did. I argue day and date PC might make more money in the sense for the business people, but in terms of expecting quality games, no. I think things will get worse. How about you? Do you see day and date PC potentially making, helping be like, what? Now we're going to release even more quality games because of this move? I don't see it.
Unfortunately, we only have one example to go off of, because Nintendo hasn't done day and date PC, and so far PlayStation hasn't done day and date on PC for their single player titles. Yes, they've done it for, obviously, Helldivers 2, and it's ilk. We already know that's going to be up there. So we only have one thing to go off of, and the problem with the Microsoft example is that it was pretty much in tandem with Game Pass. And I think Game Pass did far more damage to the quality of games than the PC move did. So is there an example that we have where we can isolate the two from one another? Like, is there a game that went day and date on PC but didn't go into Game Pass first, so that we can say what was the effect on that game in particular? And I don't know. I can't think of one. I don't even think that Gears 5 counts, but I'm not that familiar with the release dates, because I think Gears 5 was the first game that went into Game Pass day and date. Yeah, and I think that also went into
at least one of the first early ones. Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know how to answer your question, because I'm not even sure if the industry has provided us with examples to answer your question when it comes to first party. But I will say, from a speculative perspective, I do not see how day and date makes a game better with PC. Like, there was a thread on Twitter, and I didn't save it, so I can't put it up or send it to you. But it was basically it was No Man's Sky developer that was explaining what goes into each patch. And he was basically saying all of the platforms that he needed to configure for to make sure that each patch works across it. So it was like PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, PlayStation 4 VR, PlayStation 4 Pro VR, PS5, PS5 Pro, so PS4 running on PS5,
PS4 VR running on PS5, PS5 VR2, and then he did all of that, right? And then there was the Xbox equivalent, okay? And then what he said after that was 140 different configurations for PC. So if you got tired of me listing out all of the PlayStation 4 versions with the PlayStation 5 versions and the backwards compatible versions and the VR modes across PSVR1 and PSVR2, that was like a dozen configurations. And then for PC alone, it was 140 of them. You get what I mean? Like the amount of workload to make sure that this thing works across all of these things on PC is why I don't think that they should release on PC in the first place, just from a workload perspective. The second thing is that releasing on PC doesn't unlock more technical capacity or technical capability. You know, when we move from generation on console, we tell ourselves, okay, at a certain point, usually around the halfway mark and in the later half of the console, the game developers, the game makers will be able to implement new ways and new strategies and just new ways to design games, right? Like take a look at Spider-Man 2 versus Spider-Man 1. Just the amount of speed alone, even though it's the same map, but the amount of speed, what that meant for the gameplay, because now you have the web wings and everything, that is a generational shift that we see in the game because we move forward. The problem with PC is that doesn't happen because 98% of your customers on PC are like on platforms that are either equivalent to the consoles that we have today or they are weaker than even that. So releasing a game on PC doesn't suddenly be like, oh yeah, everybody's on the 4090 now. It now unlocks this potential where we know that they all have 128 gigs of RAM. You know, let's go crazy. Let's create like a Star Citizen or like, you know, a good Starfield. You know, that doesn't happen because of PC. So it doesn't unlock any extra capability. All PC unlocks is it allows you to, I guess, overdrive whatever it is that you already designed for the console. You know, that's basically it. And it in itself is kind of like it doesn't bring any tangible value. The only thing that it has done of kind of like, I think ray tracing has been the one thing that PC has been able to be like, yeah, we did this. You know, because now they have path tracing for the 4090s and, you know, the really high-end cards that they have on NVIDIA. And that's cool. But again, that's just like a better overdrive version of the lighting system that you put into the consoles, if you get what I mean. Like, that's what a PC turns out to be. It just turns out to be a better console. It doesn't turn out to be a brand new technology that somehow pushes gaming forward the way that it used to be.
Mm-hmm. I just think, for the most part, when I hear day-and-day PC, and it's ultimately you're telling your developers, like you just mentioned, you have to worry about two platforms. The game has to release on both platforms. That means you have to prepare a plan to support both platforms in terms of updates, patches, if things goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you still only get 5 years to do it.
Yeah.
Like what? And they're probably not going to increase the budget by that much. You know, it's not like you're gonna have.
Nor are they gonna hire 200 extra people to take out the PC port for you. Like they're not gonna bring in Nix's in-house at every studio.
Yeah.
And be like, yep, you guys are like, PC branch.
You have to do it internally and figure it out internally and do it all in the same time frame, at the same time, on the same day, and be prepared to support any issues on both platforms.
Yeah. Exactly like what Helldivers 2 is going through, actually.
You see what I'm saying? You know? Luckily, Helldivers 2 was not a big AAA, right? It wasn't like, you know, it was a good AA, and you saw how crazy that was, right? To me, like, that's why, like, when you look at, you know, like, third-party developers, right? When they release a bad game, it's like really bad. Like you can see like, oh, these games are really bad, right? But then when they finally like release a good game, like, okay, whatever. But that's why like I always saw first party was always the ones to, how would you say, for the most part, show the industry this is how you do it. Like at least copy us. You know, copy us.
Yep.
Like, you know, and then the third party could be like, oh man, look at Uncharted. Yeah, we can make a, you know, whatever, but at least that game could inspire us to really craft our game to be better, even though it's still multiplayer and stuff like that. But now when the first party is making multiplayer,
they set the bar.
Yeah, they set the bar, and everybody has to try to reach it. But now when your first party is doing multiplayer stuff, a lot of it, right, especially to meet the demands of the company saying, oh, this game, you got 5 years, it's got to come out this quarter, blah, blah, blah. you got to go with the efficiency in operations. That means you're gonna cut corners. You're not gonna get the face cheek hairs from Alloy. Hell, you're probably not even gonna get her hair waving anymore. It's gonna be static.
Yep.
There's just gonna be so much stuff that gets cut back to meet that time frame, and you probably won't have the budget because now part of the budget is the PC version as well. I don't see gaming getting better. I see actually gaming getting cut back. We probably won't see those huge standout titles that make us wow us. That'd be like, wow, look at that. I still think they can make good games. I just don't think we're gonna see first party in that condition just be a step ahead of everybody. I think at that point, first party is gonna step into a world of third party, right? Obviously by doing date and date, and third party does it better. Hell, like there's a reason why Rockstar's not releasing Grand Theft Auto 6 day one on PC.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's like one of the biggest games, period. And they don't even put it on PC day and date. So that should tell you something on how challenging it is, But the funny part is, no one complains to Rockstar. Everybody shuts the fuck up. Did you notice that? Oh, so we should put the games day and date on PC. Rockstar's like, you're gonna wait 2 years.
The only
okay,
one.
Daddy.
Sony's the only one that they harass. That they harass.
Nintendo too.
Yeah. Oh wait, the one Nintendo should be day and date on PC.
Yeah, they want Nintendo to be on PC as well. You see what I'm saying?
You know what?
But Rockstar
why don't you just ask for Peter Pan?
Yeah, but think about
why don't you just ask for Peter Pan to come and take you to his land, to his island?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly, right? They want Nintendo there, right? They want Nintendo Sony there, but the funny part is Rockstar's like, hey, we'll put on console, PC comes 2 years later or whatever. PC gamers are like, they don't say shit to Rockstar. Rockstar will look at them like, shut the fuck up. You're not only that, you're gonna buy our game on console and you're gonna buy it again on PC, right?
That's how you're gonna do it. That's how you're gonna do
it. Yeah, that's how But I just don't see. I understand the argument of the business side, but I want the conversation to start on the quality side. Because again, and you brought up good points, because it's hard to use Xbox, and thank you for your points for Xbox, because Xbox also had Game Pass, which probably was a catalyst, or at least a portion of the issues.
It's a major contributor.
It's a major contributor.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's hard to say, was it really PC or was it Game Pass or a combination of both? So there is a lot of other factors in this. But ultimately, though, it's not a good look, in at least for team quality, doing day and day on PC. At best, the games sell more, but that doesn't necessarily mean the publisher is going to use that money to improve the quality of their games. It could just mean more money into the top execs' pockets, and that's it. That's all it could mean.
I mean, the problem with Microsoft is that even if this was a winning strategy, Microsoft wouldn't be the ones to do it with. Because we already talked about last week about the whole 18-month contract for employees or even contractors and everything. And we all know that that's not how you make a game. So it's like they have Game Pass, and that has an effect. They have day and date on PC, that definitely has an effect. And then they have the fact that people need to get voted out like every 12 to 18 months. So it's like, how do you it's like, even if this was a winning strategy, these wouldn't be the ones. It's a bit like Google Stadia. Like, even if cloud gaming was the future, Stadia was never going to be it. You get what I mean? Like, it was just always going to be like, wait, why is this a confusing product? Like, when Google Stadia first came out, I looked at how it worked and I was like, why am I confused? Like, I'm a gamer and I like tech and I like Google products. So how is it that I'm looking at the Google announcement and I'm so confused as to how this is exactly supposed to work, right? Because it was like, hey, we kind of like Netflix, but also you buy the titles individually. And I was like, But also there's this subscription, but it has like a small amount of games. And I was like, even Luna is a bit confusing as to how it works. Because it's like, you subscribe to like publisher channels. So I guess you have like the Ubisoft Luna subscription thing. And people are like, what is that about, right? Like, make it either the Netflix of gaming or just make it another store. But going back to the whole, does it make sense for the business? Look, as much as I think that these financial people can be obtuse, I think that there is nobody that has a doubt in their mind that having a store where your customers have to go through you and your payment systems is the most valuable thing in the world. That's how Apple makes their money, right? Because you have to go through the App Store. Why do you think that Apple spends like millions of dollars around the world blocking other people from offering an App Store on their platform?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want any competition. They don't want any smoke. You could be like, hey, even when, what was it? Epic Games decided to be like, okay, we're going to
Internal.
have our one single app and is going to just buy our one single products through our app. They were like, yeah, fuck that. You're not having any version of a
Yeah.
transaction on our platform that isn't going through the App Store.
Yeah.
Guess what? Consoles are just physical app stores.
Yeah.
That's what
Exactly.
they are. So I do not see even the most obtuse person not understanding that sacrificing or anything that might jeopardize, the sale of the console, now jeopardize the storefront at which you can sell. Because there's no other place really to access the PlayStation Store but the console. I mean, you can access through your phone and through your web browser, but it is useless to you unless you have a PlayStation. You're not buying something to play it, on your Chrome browser. You're not. So until they can find a way to, I guess, democratize a real PlayStation Store experience where you don't need the PlayStation to access your titles, like if they were making, I guess, what is it? What Microsoft has, where they have kind of like dual citizenship, where you buy one game on one platform and they offer you an app store where you can get it on the other. Unless they do that, there is no way that you will somehow be like, hey, yeah, you guys on PC, you just have this day and date and you don't need to buy a console, and therefore you do not have our storefront and we can sell to you directly.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so let me see. I got Rome. He says PS owns or PC port studios. Yes, so we already know they're porting games, right? But the conversation is about the strategy of day and date. Nixes cannot support day and date on every game that PlayStation would have. The studios themselves would have to now be multi-platform studios. Another super chat for Rome. He says there's literally a playable Wolverine PC port. Yeah, because it was stolen and they converted it to make it play on PC. But that's not the same as Insomniac building the game for PlayStation 5. Like, notice Spider-Man 2 didn't launch on PC and stuff like that, right? So I'll say this to everybody, because I'll say this for the PlayStation, right? Day and date on PC will take away from the console game on PlayStation, and not in the sense of identity or value or loyalty or anything of that nature. The thing that you get taken away is that the developers, the first party developers for your console, that is no longer the focus. They can't, because again, if you have to release games on your console and on PC with multiple configurations, you have to balance the workforce to create a game that can cater to the console and the various configurations of PC all at the same time. It's literally what third party does. Now, for third party, that's absolutely okay because they didn't make the console. PlayStation's not EA's responsibility. They're not convincing you to play on PlayStation or any other console. Ubisoft, Embracer Labs, Capcom, Square Enix, they're not console platform providers. They're not selling you a specific platform. They are simply third-party developers. They want to make games on multiple platforms, and they're generally going to try to find a great balance on all the different architectures and the way these platform providers created their platforms. PC is even a lot harder because it's not even one configuration. It's literally different companies making different components. You got the GPUs, you got the processors, various RAMs, motherboards, and they're trying to find a way to balance all that. And they generally balance this whole entire ecosystem of devices to generally come out with a game that everyone can enjoy, and it gets released at the same time, and they're able to support it with patches. PC gamers might have issues on their end that they need a patch for. Xbox might have an issue, PlayStation might have an issue, whatever. When you introduce that, the developer has to change their mindset. They have to change their way the development process is. If you're releasing a game there on PC, a PlayStation developer could be like, we see these issues with PC, but hey, it's all about the PlayStation because, I'm a PlayStation, developer. They can't do that no more. They have to balance everything, And when they release their product, it is a general good product for every device. That takes away from your console, right? Let me put it this way. Take a look. Take, for example, again, I use this example all the time, but if you look at Sony's first party, they're really the only ones that are willing to invest in adding more performance options to PlayStation games, right? With the HFR, with the high frame rate and VRR combination, you can play these games at higher resolutions, unlocked, which gives you the big frames. Like Final Fantasy could definitely use this mode, right? But third-party developers, even third-party developers that decide to make exclusives for PlayStation, aren't using this. Now, when you think about it, you have a tech on PlayStation that technically is the closest thing you can do on console that is like what PC gamers do to choose the best optimized settings to get the best results in their games. Like the best balance of graphics and performance. These options that PlayStation 5 provide, this capability, is the closest thing to that. Because right now, generally, it's just simply quality mode and performance mode, if we're lucky to even get that. But PlayStation went beyond that. Like, yay, we could do, 4K 40, or we could do 1800p, whatever, unlocked frames. Like, there's so many other configurations. I mean, not configurations, settings you can do to get a better level of experience in the games. You get more options and stuff like that.
Yep.
You would think third party would be like, man, these options will provide more, this capability will provide more options and it will make our games better. So in reality, let's say like you release a game is, for example, let's say Square Enix, 4K 30, 1080p 60. And the gamer complains, man, I want to play the game at 60 frames, but it's only 1080p. It looks like Vaseline. Square Enix be like, hey, that's on you because we added high frame rate VRR. You can play the game at 1440p or 1800p up to 4K and unlock frames, right?
Exactly.
But the thing is, you didn't buy the TV. Your TV is not HDMI 2.1 compliant, so you are not fully utilizing the capabilities the console can do. That's understandable. If a gamer complains, he'd be like, "Oh, I ain't getting a performance. What TV you have? Oh, I still have my, what you call it, TCL, 4K TV with HDMI 1.8. Well, bro, your PS5 is so much more capable. Upgrade your TV. You're gonna get performance in these games. Your games will look better. At least the development studio, third party could say that. They could push back a little bit gently, but they could say, hey, we provided more performance options that utilizes PS5's capability, but you have to have the equipment to make sure you have that, namely TVs that have HDMI 2.1 and VR capability. Now you could be like, oh, so I can get a better experience. I just got to upgrade my old shit. Got it. But they're not using that capability across any game, and it seems like it's so obvious to use it. It will make your game look better, perform better, and gamers will want that. Gamers won't complain because you gave them the capability and the option to whatever. But they're not doing that. Why? Because PlayStation is really the only one doing it, the console, right? Xbox is not doing it. And PC doesn't need it. They have their own, like PC, it's already determined. If you want better performance beyond what you're capable of doing, upgrade. That's on you, buddy. We're not going to upgrade your 1660 Ti to run at 4K. Sorry, buddy. Buy a new card, buy a new CPU. That's on you. So that's already an accepted practice there. Xbox doesn't do anything. So why the hell are they going to waste the energy and time and resources specifically just for PS5, even though it is the market leader? You know what I'm saying? Exclusives do that, and especially from your own first party. They bring out the best in your console and what your console can do. No one else is going to provide that level of fidelity and try to say, man, we can really make this console look really great, even if it's just us. We've seen that example with the PlayStation 3. The best performing, best looking games generally came from Sony's first party because rarely anyone else was interested in maximizing that Frankenstein. They weren't really interested. A lot of them wasn't even really interested in lock 30. Many games ran sub 30, jittery. They weren't even interested in ensuring at least 720p 30 frames. At least that. Not even that. Like you're gonna get your game at 620p 28 frames per second and deal with it. What you gonna do? Not buy it? Not our problem. PC and 360 versions wasn't fine. So it's like that's what you're gonna lose as a console gamer when your first party studios make day and date on multiple platforms. That's it. Your console is just a generic device at that point. That's all it is, and it's not gonna do anything miraculous or wonderful because there's just not enough time. They're not gonna give them the time. That's exactly why Rockstar does not do day and date with their big games. They want to maximize the consoles as best as possible because they know their games need to be huge. There's a high expectation in quality that is expected from them. It's a huge bar. Everybody expects, Grand Theft Auto to be the game of the gen every single time a new one comes out. Mm-hmm. So they take their time, they release it. They don't even release the online day and date. When you think about it, they release nothing day and date. Like, you are going to get the single player and that's it. Shut the fuck up. Then when they release the online, okay, now the online service is up. And then like a year and a half later, now you get to play the PC version. So they stagger even the game itself.
To be fair, if I was Rockstar, I would block out the online component for 2 or 3 months, even if I had it ready. Just to make people go through this thing. Because I'm not putting 10 years into all this art and these assets and this storyline and this voice. Yeah, exactly. So you can just go and like shoot each other online. Like, you're gonna play this game.
First, you lock out the online until you unlock the ending.
Exactly. You're actually gonna get at least 30% of the trophies in order to go online.
You have to beat the game. Like, you did not achieve the ending trophy, so sorry. No online for you.
Exactly. I would totally lock it up because I'm just like, are you kidding? I spent 10 years paying people for this shit, and you guys are gonna skip. Like, I've seen the trophy, and it's like I look at the trophy score, and I'm like, only 10% of people even made it to the second mission. So I spent all that time, and all I had to do was GTA Online 2. But if I had done just GTA Online 2, you guys would have complained and bitch, where's GTA 6? So I spent 10 years paying people to make GTA 6, and none of you motherfuckers are playing it. I would lock that shit up for 6 months. You guys gonna wait. You're gonna play this game. You're gonna play this game.
Yes, that's it. It says online not available until you beat the game.
You're just like, whoa, are you kidding? Could you imagine?
That would be terrible. Online not available.
99% of them are gonna skip this. It'll be like Call of Duty, right? Yeah. Call of Duty, most people never play through the single player story, or they only play through like the first 2 or 3 missions. They never beat them. You know? So then when they take away the single player story, what do people do? They complain. Online everywhere. Oh my god, it doesn't have a single player story this year. And then they bring it back and you go right back to, oh yeah, I'll play it one day. So I would lock it up. I would be like, you're only playing the single player. If I was releasing Call of Duty, for the first 3 weeks you guys don't have multiplayer. You're gonna play this single player campaign. You're gonna do it. But yeah, going back to the topic, when it comes to, obviously, I mean, that is the advantage, right? Because, your brother loves to go out there and be like, exclusives are only beneficial for the company. And I'm like, no, they are beneficial for the gamer because of exactly what you said. Exclusives are the signature dish or the signature drink of like the restaurant, right? Like if you ever go to like a high-end restaurant and you're like, you know what, let me see what this is about. I know that this is like a Michelin star or a, blah, 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 GQ awarded it, this exclusive award or the Cannes Festival, whatever it is. You're like, okay, I get it. It has merit. But you go in there and you're like, you know what, show me some of your best stuff. What are you going to ask the waiter? You're going to ask them for the signature dishes and the signature drinks and the signature desserts or whatever it is, right? And then they're going to give you a list and I'm going to be like, well, our chef tonight or our team tonight or whatever it is really specializes in this filet mignon or whatever it is that they specialize in. And that's the one that you're going to get because that's supposed to be one of the best representations of the quality and the value proposition that this particular establishment is meant to give to you. That's the same thing with exclusive first-party exclusives. That's what they are meant to be, right? Like if I get an Xbox, I want to play Gears 5, I want to play Starfield, I want to play other properties like the Halo Infinite. I want to play those games because it's supposed to be the best indicator of the quality that I'm going to see on that platform. Of course, those are dog shit. So I will quickly realize that that's on the platform for me. But that's where it's supposed to be. When I played the Switch, I didn't go out and play the Switch for any random game. I went and I got it and I played it for Breath of the Wild, and it was a fantastic experience. And it showed me that the dish is good, but the establishment is dog shit because the Switch is so underpowered. Oh my god, Jesus Christ! That thing is a calculator. Like that thing is a TI-84. Honestly. Honestly, the Switch needs help. Okay, we need the Switch 2. We need the Switch 2 way more than we need a PlayStation 5 Pro. I'm just gonna put it out there. Okay, we need the Switch 2 way more than we need an Xbox Series, whatever is coming next. So, listen, Nintendo, please let me play your games. Let me play your games at 1080p 60 because I'm not expecting much for you. That's all I want. No. That's all I want. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, so I guess let's segue from this to PlayStation VR.
Just quickly before we leave this topic, Jay Barry raised a point on Twitter when he was mad, and he said, "Has PC helped the PlayStation gamer?" Because we were talking about day and date, but let's talk about how they're doing it. Has the PC releases, like, how do we see as PlayStation gamers that these things have actually helped? Because I've never been against them putting games on PC, but I feel like the whole promise of, oh, we'll get this extra money and we'll invest it in the game and everything. Have we really seen that? Because aside from Helldivers 2, these games have not been massive hits on PC.
Like, so, again, you can argue, not even argue, you can make the point that this will make more money for the company. Absolutely. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean that money gets reinvested and make things better for the PlayStation console gamer. It could just mean more money for C-suite execs, you know? So it's, you know, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily translate, right? It just means more money, but everybody assumes, oh, they make more money, which means more games. More money, more games, yet you're firing people? Like, shouldn't that, let me put it this way, shouldn't the games that we already sold on PC should have prevented this?
You would imagine.
Right? You would imagine that the sales on PC is supposed to prevent, you know, the layoffs and stuff like that and grow whatever. But it's not, right? That's why I said that the day and date on PC, if you want to make the argument about what the execs and the corporate interests get, sure. But explain gamer interests for the console gamers. If you want to argue PC gamer interest, of course they get more games. That's obvious. That goes without. That's not even a conversation. That's just obvious. That's like no shit brainer, right? But for the PlayStation console gamer, what do PlayStation console gamers get out of this? They get nothing. They bought a console. If anything, they're gonna lose more because now your device is a generic device in the construct of things, right? And you clearly see that, you know, with the Xbox console. It's just your device. If your first party studios, if all of them get tasked to make day and date PC games, your console is a generic device. And no, I seen tweets about people. Good, now we can actually, you know, remove games as being a competitive metric and focus more on hardware and services to really make these things shine. Like, no. Consoles will never be competitive from the hardware perspective because the thing is, those consoles are locked. You made a console in 2020. Who gives a fuck about it in 2024 from a hardware perspective? It's already old and outdated. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like iPhone doesn't even do that. Every year there's a new iPhone for a reason. No one's gonna try to compete. Apple's not going to try to compete in 2026 with a 2023 phone. Like, no. Like, you know, and consoles don't work that way. Once you release a console, even as 2028, like let's say the next generation starts in 2028. So you release a console in 2028, it's going to be great, whatever. 2031, it's already whatever. Like, okay, what's the big deal? It's nothing. Like, it's literally nothing. Like, you would have to release a console every year for that. Like, there's nothing a console's going to do that's going to be relevant 2-3 years after its launch. There's just no whatever, you know? So console will never compete or even have anything special in the hardware. And again, we already proven paper specs don't mean nothing. We already, like stop with the whole hardware fight. Like, consoles will never be truly competitive from a hardware stuff. It's just not it. It's always been the games. People remember the quality games and gaming experiences. Nobody, hardly anyone, if any, remembers the specs of the N64. But a lot of gamers who played the N64 remember how impactful Super Mario 64 was. It was literally a game design change that literally helped influence the industry. People remember the games. They don't remember that CPU that it had.
I mean, games are still based on the Mario 64 game, right? Like the whole hovering for a little bit when you're at the top.
Yeah.
Like games still do that.
Yes.
The Mario jump is still a staple. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff is just iconic, but it's always consoles. Always the iconic memories of consoles has always been the games. And a lot of them were exclusives. They were game changers and stuff like that. But J-Boy makes a point. You're as a console gamer who plays as a console gamer on any platform, you're not going to get a benefit on PC day and date. You're not. There's no benefit to you. It's only a benefit to the company and obviously the PC gamers who now get to play more games. That's pretty much where it stops. You're not going to get this illusion of, you're going to get more games. This funds more games. No, it funds more wallets.
Yeah, we don't get more games. In fact, we get them slower, right? Because like you said, we get less creativity and like you said before, less quality in terms of pushing the hardware or showing what the console can do. It's all bad. It's all like a whole bunch of bad news. As the console gamer, you're just like, no. I guess the only potential benefit that you could have is that now this game is available on your PC rig if you happen to also enjoy PC gaming, and you like also have a dedicated, exactly. But unless you're that type of gamer, it's pretty much bad news everywhere. So yeah, I think that going forward, they need to understand that PC gamers are not interested in blockbuster games. I'm sorry, I've said it before, and like PC guys, I'm one of you guys, but you guys are interested in two types of games. Number one, no graphics and high frame rate. That's like the first thing, okay? And then number two, some childish itty bitty shit that you can be like, oh yeah, look how intelligent we are because we play Vampire Survivors. We like this pixelated 8-bit shit. Like, fuck out of here. And you guys aren't interested in like Death Stranding or God of War or cinematic experiences. And I know one of you is going to be like, oh yeah, I love those games. Yeah, you're the only one. Okay? Because clearly when they port these games over, it's just you buying them and maybe your 10 friends from the neighborhood. No one else is buying these games. Helldivers 3 happens to be like perfectly positioned in the neutral zone between PC. It is just performant enough, but without really taxing all of their frames. Because let's face it, most of these PC gamers are peasants. Like, I'm sorry, most of you are not working at 40 anything, whether that's 4060 or 70 or 80 or 90 or any of the supers or the TIs or whatever. Can we just talk about how ridiculous it is, the product lineup of graphics cards? And that's just from NVIDIA. But whatever, let's put that to the side, right? Most of you ain't even running at 30 anything. Most of you ain't like the 20 if you're lucky. Most likely the 10. Like, let's be honest. Like, you guys are generations behind. You can't even keep up with your own shit. So let's face it. You don't want like this thing that's going to be like, oh yeah, man, you're only getting 29 frames per second. Like, could you imagine? And that's a 1080p resolution. You're only getting 29 frames. It's like, relax, bro. You're not. Most of you, 99% of you, are not part of the master race. Okay, the master race. It's funny because the master race are just so desperate that they want everybody else to be part of the club. But it's like, bro, come on. This is like if Aston Martin like drivers were like desperately going to the Toyota forums and be like, you guys need to buy Aston Martins too. And it's like, yeah, buddy, you got it. You got it. You spend that amount of money, you can beat us in a drag race. We're just trying to get to the shops though. Like, we're both gonna be in the checkout line. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter to us that much that you got there in the Vanquish and we got there in a Toyota Prius. Like, it's all good. But yeah, the point is this. PC gamers do not want the kind of experiences that Sony first-party games typically provide. They want something like Helldivers, and I think that going forward, they need to just understand that reality. This whole thing where Horizon, I think, sold like 3 million copies on PC, and that's like one of the most successful ports ever. It's like you're selling to an audience of like 400 million customers. You sold 3 million. That's abysmal. That's less than 1%.
Yeah, and they try to say it's because it's not day and date.
It's not. It's not that. It's not that. So. It's not that. It really isn't. Like it's one of those specious arguments that sounds like, oh yeah, it could be, but in reality, when you just think about it, you realize very quickly that it's not. Because do you think they're not gonna buy GTA 6 because it won't be there?
That's a good point. You know what
You
I'm
know,
saying?
like it's just like GTA 6 will come out 5 years later. They're gonna buy it in droves.
Yep, day
You
one.
know,
Day one.
you know,
Absolutely. And they're going to keep buying it, with every new video card that comes out. Um,
exactly.
uh,
Exactly. So it's like, nah, it's not the whole, it's not there and they thing. It's just
yeah.
that they're not interested in those types of experiences, especially the ones that are going to push their hardware and make them realize that they don't have the big boy stuff. You know, when you look at Brad, talking, he's got like a 3070 and he's always floating with the idea of like upgrading that to like the latest and the greatest. He's a PC Master Race guy. He gets to have that say. But most of you guys out there, you're just frauds. Like, I have better PC specs than you. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is.
Hmm. Right. Let me do super chat. We got Freddie K582. He says day and day on PlayStation would be ruinous. They spend billions in R&D only to devalue the console. The crazy part is, great point, Freddie K, is let's say if they do decide day and day, I think the way forward is their console design would be with the mindset of making sure you can port games easily day and date on PC. So it will be more about how well designed the console is to accommodate porting. You know what I'm saying? There was an article with Nixis when they tried to port, when they did the port to Spider-Man to PC. They said there was some challenges they had to do. They had to put in some work, but they ultimately did a good port. But obviously, in future consoles, if you could design it to where both platforms easily do the same thing as best as possible to mitigate or minimize those little issues, they're gonna go for it. So again, the console will be designed in mind to match as best as possible PC-like environment to port and stuff like that. Even though they're already close, but obviously these special customizations and custom silicon and stuff they do to really bring out what a console could do. Because again, it's going to be locked. You can't upgrade it. You're not going to do that. That's all gone because it's, again, generic device among devices. Phil takes Blue Chew. If Nintendo lays off people, we're cooked. Oh man. Yo, I don't know Nintendo. I think Nintendo is just a different breed, man. They are absolutely.
I mean, they're also in a different country where laws work differently. So you can't always just think that things will work the same across the planet.
Yeah. All right. So segue into this PlayStation VR, and I'm trying to find the article. But now Sony will, I want you to by the end of this year, update it to where now you are able to use PSVR2 on, PC, right? Saw the article. People ask me my thoughts on this, and the best way I could describe it, and this might piss off a lot of people, but when you actually look at it, PSVR2 is like the Xbox of VR gaming. It's not selling a lot. Meta has the lion's share of mind share, market share, and PC support. PSVR 2 is not selling well. It's just not, right? And when you have a product that doesn't sell well, we know it's like Xbox. You're going to support the market leader. Now, of course, people counter, well, who says it was supposed to be the market leader? It's an accessory to the PS5. I'm like, listen. I get that. But you have to look at it from the third-party publisher's perspective. And simply put, they don't give a shit about the circumstance of what Sony did. They only care about, I'm going to make a VR game. Where can I find success? So unless Sony cuts deals and gives them money, they're going to opt for the PC landscape and the platforms that sold the most, primarily MetaQuest. That's the number one selling VR by a long shot. To put it simply, MetaQuest is thrashing PSVR 2 much worse than PlayStation 5 thrashing Xbox. It's like not even close. It's like a fucking slaughter, right? And then you add to the fact that all the games that were made for MetaQuest work for the latest model MetaQuest. While on PlayStation VR 2, and again, I understand why, but it still sucks that the PSVR library, the majority of library, does not work on the PSVR 2. That is a lot of games. And given that VR is still a new, kind of newish thing, it's not in the position to cut libraries. It's just not. It's just not there yet, right? So you could use whatever it got. So when you look at the landscape, you got Meta, which pretty much has this huge library of games going all the way back to the first MetaQuest. The majority of the industry support. It's much more an easier entry to VR because you don't need any other platform. You could just get a standalone Meta and it will be perfectly fine. And if you do want a better experience in Meta, you get a gaming PC and it will improve your experience. So you have options, right? Huge third-party support, easier entry, cheaper entry. It's just slaughtering PSVR2, right? So PSVR2, in my opinion, this decision is pretty much trying to get those PC developers to get more onto the PlayStation VR2. That's my opinion. I think this is Sony's way of saying we're too small in the market. We're not going to get this huge support. We need more support. And by putting PSVR2 on PC, now developers could be like, you know what? Since PSVR2 is on PC in the market of VR, yeah, we'll make more games. We have no problem. But that's because you're on a platform that caters to the market. What do you think about? What do you think about the whole PSVR2 going to PC? I know you're all about the Apple, and everybody. You talked about this, maybe not last pack, but you talked about it. You know, the whole Apple.
I've talked about it. Yeah, the Apple philosophy.
We are going. I don't give a fuck if it works on any device. Exactly. So what do you think about this move? Do you think Sony little by little is going away from your view of Apple type-esque thing?
No, I think that this is a product segment that, for me, I think it's a bit like iTunes. If you remember when iTunes first came out, it was only on Macs, and that meant that you could only, basically use your iPod on a Mac, right?
On a Mac.
And I think that for them, they are saying now that repositioning, this is definitely a shift in strategy, right? They are repositioning PSVR2 to be a bit like iTunes and be like, okay, we'll make it a generic software. Because, so first they didn't really explain what was happening. So I think that what I'm going to do is that this is going to plug into your PC and be a generic VR headset like any other. Like the only difference, of course, would be that it will be wired, but it'll be like the HTC Vive, the Valve. What do they have? The Valve headset. They have a version of that. And it's going to just sit in the market as a, hey, would you like a more performant in certain ways version of the MetaQuest? This is another thing that you can buy. And also, if you have a PlayStation now, it will work across those two platforms, right? I don't think that this is going to make PlayStation VR 2 from the PlayStation VR gamer any better. Like, I don't think that these developers that you're talking about are now going to be like, okay, we're going to port our game, or we're going to make our game compatible with PlayStation VR 2, and now we're going to port it over to the PlayStation network and then also make it work over there. Do you get what I mean?
That's going to happen? You don't think that?
Yeah, I think they're just going to stay on PC. They're just going to be like, no, we just.
So it works on VR 2, but only for PC?
Yeah, only for PC. Yeah. I think it's just going to be a generic headset. That's what I think. That it's going to go that way, but again, we don't know, right? Because Sony didn't even detail exactly what they mean.
I know that's just a thought, right? So I'm not saying this confirmed, but holy shit, if that happens, bro, that's a huge slap in the face to the people who have PSVR 2, but they play it on
for PlayStation. Yeah, for PlayStation. So I don't think this will be. But first of all, that's even something that Sony can control, right? Because they can't force people to now port the game to the PlayStation.
Yeah, because they opened it up.
Yeah, but I do think that that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a generic VR system for the PC VR games and everything like that. And another thing that I think is that the VR platform, the VR gaming movement, right? It's not as big as it needs to be and as mature as it needs to be for, I guess, PlayStation to make money on it on their own. So, what would be your benefit if you are a PlayStation VR gamer and enjoyer? I think that if this works well, and it has advantages that the MetaQuest doesn't have, right? Because it is wired and because of the way that it works with the foveated rendering and all of that nonsense. If this works well, it will be the only way that you would have gotten a PlayStation VR 3. Except when the PlayStation VR 3 comes out, it will probably just support both platforms again from the get-go. It will be like an iTunes update. It will be there on PC day one, and it will be available for you to buy on your PlayStation 5/PlayStation 6 day one as well. I think if this doesn't work out for them, if PC gamers reject this like they reject the Epic Store, right? Then you're not getting PlayStation VR3 because, like you said, it's just not selling enough on its own on PlayStation, if that makes sense. And for me personally, I don't care whichever way it goes because I've never really believed in VR. I never even tried it. But I've always said that when it comes to new technology, you want to try the third version. Because the first version of technology is always just a proof of concept. It's a proof of life. Does this thing make sense? The second version is what the first version would have been if the company had been confident. So it's not that they're coming out with new technologies or whatever. It's just that they were never going to start out making the PlayStation VR2 as the first headset. It took way too many years and they didn't know if the market was there, right? PlayStation VR3 will be the first time that there is a huge leap in order to answer a lot of concerns that people have. It could be wireless, for example, and everything like that, and still give you the fidelity. But that will be the point where I get interested in VR. And so if it doesn't come out, I've lost nothing. But I do think that it has been a shift in strategy because I did say, and I still believe that for the most part, PlayStation accessories are going to be there in order to sell you on the PlayStation ecosystem.
Okay.
Also, just quickly in the chat, that rule that I have about the third generation is the best. It's not like a hard and fast rule. It's just it's a pattern that you can see repeating in different like areas of technology, over and over again. Yes, there are exceptions, where like the second version is more popular than the third version or whatever it is. You will always find a hole. It's not a decree from God.
I'm hoping that ultimately, I could clearly see why the decision was made. I'm hoping that it does result, and now it just opens the doors for more games to be made for PSVR 2 because now it's more equal for the thing. But how about this now? If this generally doesn't work out so well, or maybe lukewarm, do you think there'll be a PSVR 3? Do you think Sony...
No, I told you. If this doesn't work out well, if this doesn't turn out to be a massive hit on PC, because I think now you're leaning on PC to basically justify the existence of PSVR 3. If this doesn't turn out to sell millions of copies on PC, no, you're not getting PSVR 3. I think that's it. That's the one. Because they did it with portable, right? They tried twice, and they were like, nope, we're not giving you the third time. So,
yeah. I think this might be the last VR Sony goes into, in my opinion. Unless something miraculous happens.
It has a competitive advantage on PC, right? So it could work.
Yeah. What do you think it can do with? I don't know. It's just I think it's a great thing, but hey, sometimes you gotta admit, even great things don't always become successful and stuff like that.
No, that's definitely true. And sometimes customers don't value the best experience. Like we always think that if you just give them like a significantly improved experience from one product to another, like there's some people that will buy, for example, DVDs instead of buying Blu-rays, even though you can sit down someone in front of a TV and be like, look at the Blu-ray, and I'm like, dude, I just want a movie. So they don't care. Even if they have like a Blu-ray player, like a Xbox or a PlayStation, they might be like, bro, I don't care to pay the $10 extra, to get a much better product in the Blu-ray version. So yeah, you could go to PC, and then the PC gamers are like, hey, we see this whole, better graphics and, better controllers or whatever. I mean, I'm not sure if they're better controllers, but we see the advantages, but we also see the increase in price tag. And we decide no.
Right. I would say, oh man, I lost my train of thought on this one.
Did you type into the chat?
No, I got it. I understand the technology is amazing, right? But Sony did a real hard job to set this up for success, in my opinion, right? One, the console, and I understand the reasons behind it. The console's still expensive, right? The headset's expensive. The equipment is expensive. VR, so you're talking like over $1,000 if you wanted to go into PSVR 2 gaming.
Basically $1,100.
Yeah, you're talking about $1,100 to really follow it through. You cut a huge library off because it's not compatible with the PSVR 1. Stuff like that, right? And that's and I understand we don't play new stuff for old games. I get it, but I think VR is not in that territory yet. VR is like
it isn't because it's too young.
Yeah, it's too young. So you need everything. Any game
Yeah.
that's made, you need it, all of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? It definitely needs to carry over and stuff like that, right? And I don't hear much about price drops. You don't hear much about first party exclusives. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hell, the console itself is having its challenges, let alone the VR. It's just a lot of things that
Yeah.
the things that make a product successful, VR is not getting. And I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
Sony's stupid for not doing it. There could be some challenges behind the price, the cost, getting the support. I mean, I got it, but either way, at the end result is the end result. The moves are not being
And also,
made.
they also
Yeah,
do not know what makes a good VR game. Right? Let's be honest. People talk about Call of the Mountain and they're like, well, it's a pretty game, but it's not really a great VR experience. You know, do you remember Firewalk Studios or something?
yeah.
No, they have Firewall Ultra. You know, that thing was kind of like the big hype moment from like a Sony. You know, it was kind of like Helldivers, second party, but it's a first party property. Blah blah blah. That was supposed to come and kind of like shake the VR world, and it did nothing. You know, it flopped and it died like Foam Stars. So Sony still doesn't know what makes a great VR experience. They don't have the studios to build for VR, and not. I also okay. When the PlayStation VR2 was announced, I thought it was too soon in the life cycle.
Yeah,
I thought you
VR.
didn't have an. Yeah, I thought you should come at the end of this year rather than when it came out, because you only had like what 20 million PlayStation 5s. People could barely get their hands on it, and then they were so focused on making PlayStation 5 more successful, they kind of left it and abandoned it by the wayside. You know, because I think it came out in what 2022.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yeah.
thought. I thought that was way too soon. I think they should have come out 4 years into the life cycle, especially given COVID. But obviously, they planned for this ages ago, so they're not necessarily going to pause a product and be like, "Yeah, we're just going to sit on billions of dollars invested for nothing." So, yeah,
That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? And here's a crazy part: the pros coming out. I mean, it's still not confirmed, but there's just so
Mhm.
much that I think it's easy to say that they're making a pro. At the same time, they're complaining about the cost to build consoles. So
I told you the Pro is not going to be like $600. It's going to be more. Like I
uh,
don't know why people think. I don't know why
it's
people
at
think that
least
the PlayStation
it's at
5 is
least
going to go down cheaper.
it's not. That's not going
It's
to go
not.
down cheaper.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah.
You be lucky if they don't raise the
Listen,
price again. The way they're
Listen,
talking.
guys, just just
That's
just
dumb.
apply the Nintendo philosophy. Nintendo barely drops the price on their hardware. Guess what? This
Sony's doing the
generation,
same thing. Yep.
PlayStation is doing the same thing. Exactly. Just apply Nintendo philosophy. Um, so if there is a Pro, again, I don't believe in any rumors, but if there is a Pro, it will be more than 600. Because if you guys think you're gonna get all of this extra advantage for $100, something that you could spend like at a Friday night at the movies with a bunch of friends and family, nah, you're not getting all this performance. You know, you're not. So,
Mm-hmm.
in any case, what I wanted to say is that I do think it came out too early, and you're right. If they had timed it to come out around a PlayStation 5 Pro, that would have been a bigger moment than what they had in February, like 2 years ago.
Mm. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting seeing the PS5 Pro release this year, and it's gonna be $600 minimum. I'll say minimum. It's not
Mm.
550 or 500. It's impossible. Again, they're still selling the PS5. The Slim is $500. Like the whole
450
point,
in the
450,
US.
right? 450,
Yeah,
450 in US. But that's for the
yeah.
disc-based version. The I
The
mean
digital, the digital
the
version.
digital. Yeah, the disc-based is
Yeah,
500,
that's
right?
right.
Yeah.
And it's
So like
550 around the world. So that's another
yeah,
thing.
and that's
Yeah.
and the whole point of the Slim usually is to get those huge discounts to get it to
Hmm.
$300. It's the Slim. Sell that
Yeah.
shit for 300. But again, I understand why they can't. Then what the fuck are they gonna do with a bigger beast?
That's what I said. And it's a less volume console. Like that's
Yeah.
something that people don't understand. Like
Oh yeah.
this thing
So they
will only
don't.
sell about 20%.
Yeah.
So it's
That,
more powerful, requires more silicon, and you are selling less of it. So you don't get the benefit from like, volume of sales.
Mhm. It's gonna be It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a very niche, and you're right because they can't do that super big volume. They can't get the cost down from the chip. So yeah, I would not be surprised over 600 easily. It's just going to be my thing. If you're going to do it, at least make it worthwhile. Make it no question, significantly, make it no question that people can see a huge difference between the Pro and the PS5.
Make it 4K 120, like Emmanuel been saying.
Something, yeah. Or it's not like don't let it come down to Digital Foundry to find the differences. Because that's a fail in my eyes. Exactly. Like if I need them to freeze frame and be like, yeah, you get an extra 28.6% shadow quality, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like
that's exactly what I said. That's why I said to you that the PlayStation 4 Pro was garbage. I had it and I kept telling people it's not necessary. Like people always say like, oh, Emmanuel says everything Sony does is great. And I'm like, no. Like I didn't like the PlayStation 4 Pro and I got it for free. It was garbage.
Imagine if you had to pay for it.
Exactly. That's exactly why I didn't pay for it, because I'm like, no, I don't see the difference. So that's why I keep telling people, if you get a PlayStation 5 Pro, it needs to be significantly more powerful. But then the problem is, how do you make a PlayStation 6 more powerful than that 4 years later?
Yo, it's crazy. This is some weird shit. Let me see. We got Grizzly Bear King. He says process. Worth noting, Meta has not turned a profit on VR, losing nearly 16 billion USD in 2023 alone. And Grizzly Bear King says trying to say it's not just a Sony problem. That's probably, I'll look that up. But even then,
wait, what did he say?
He said process. He says a process worth noting. Meta has not turned a profit on VR, losing nearly 16 billion US.
But that's because they're trying to create VR. No, they're trying to create meta experiences. That's the Metaverse initiative. So it's not necessarily the platform itself. It's not necessarily the hardware. It's the fact that they're trying to create.
Well, you're going in and out. Is it me or
nobody?
Hey, yeah, like hey, everybody. Is it me? Or are we both going in and out? Or is it just extreme?
Coming from.
Am I bugging out? Are y'all hearing them or?
I sent it.
Oh, they say it's just you.
Wait.
Like I don't. Yeah, like you are cutting in and out bad. Like try to go back out and come back in of Discord. Like, whoa, that was bad. I was bugging out. I was like, oh shit, homeboy bugging. So yeah, so probably from a company's perspective, sure, there's a lot of issues, but I'm talking about more from a gamer's perspective. Like Meta is just trouncing PlayStation VR 2, right? And again, we got to use the same fundamental logic and understanding of gaming, right? That we do with consoles. Game sells platforms.
Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
They said Kangaroo kicked your router.
Hey, listen, Australian internet, man. You know how it is. Yeah. You know how it is. Right. What was the last thing I said that you guys actually
start from
understood?
The beginning? Just start from the beginning.
Oh, I was saying about the Facebook Meta thing. Yes. That it was about the metaverse. It's the metaverse that they're trying to build that is actually bringing all the losses. It's not necessarily the Meta Quest. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you have to look at that.
Yeah, that's true. Was it the CEO of Facebook? What's his name? Zuckerberg?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I just found it interesting that he actually released a video.
Dissing the Vision Pro.
Yeah, the Vision Pro. He's saying we're better, and for some reason that reminded me of the Simon Sinek leadership video, like the Infinite Player. He says Apple always gets people to focus on Apple while Apple ignores everybody else. Yeah, because Apple's worrying about the next thing. And they're gonna keep on improving. While everybody's like, "What's Apple doing? Oh, we're better than Apple. Oh my god!" And like as he was talking about it, it just blew my mind. I'm like, "Yo, this is ridiculous!" Like everybody's fixated on Apple. Like, "Oh my god, let me see it. Let me do it. Are they doing this? Hey, we could do better. Hey, we're doing better." And Apple's like, "Whatever. We're just, and it's true what he says that Apple, Sure, maybe his headset is better than Apple now, but you best believe he's
Mm-hmm.
so fixated on being better than Apple, he's not fixated on the next great thing.
Yep.
And Apple is.
I can bet you no Apple executive ever tried his headset. I
No, they
can
don't even
bet you that is
know.
true.
They didn't
I
know.
bet you Tim Cook never. Tim Cook looks at
No.
that and he's like, huh?
Yeah, they didn't know. Like nobody in Apple realized that his headset did more things than the headset that they're about to release. They don't care because they release whatever and they're already working on the next thing. And chances are he's going to be complacent. Like, oh yeah, we're so ahead of Apple, not realizing they're going to get the jump on them because they're always focusing. How can we keep moving forward?
Improve ourselves, exactly.
Improve ourselves. That's it. That's the infinite play. Worry about improving yourself and making yourself better while everybody's trying to focus on you, and they're gonna lose sight of this stuff. I was like, just when he did that, I'm like, why? Like, you know what's crazy? He made a video talking about Apple when he never did that with his own product.
Exactly.
I was like, this is wild. Like, yo, this is like, the best thing you can do is ignore Apple and just worry about yourself and then just let it keep going. Because you say fix it on Apple, you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
When I saw that video, it reminded me of the Phil Spencer email. Because even before you have put out that Simon Sinek video, I remember reading the emails from Phil Spencer when he was looking at the Sony launch and emailing Satya like, oh yeah, we got him, and I was like, wait a second, this has been a few years now. What the fuck did you have? You were so worried about what Sony might put out that you thought that Halo Infinite was going to be like the showstopper at your conference. Like that was the thing for me. You were so fixated on Sony, you didn't even realize the kind of like clusterfuck you were walking into as a company, and then obviously history has played out the way that it has played out. So yeah, that's what it reminded me of, because I was like, you're still trying, like the super chat said, you're also trying this whole billions of dollars lost at the metaverse thing. What are you doing in the metaverse? Because I'm sorry, I don't really care about Apple products that way. I respect them now, but I don't use Apple products myself. But one of the things I wanted to say is that, you know how Apple created this whole like home theater mode and they sold you on it? They're not the first to do it, but they're the first to do it to a level where you're like, whoa, this looks amazing, right? And guess what? That's not going to be billions of dollars wasted into trying to create a metaverse. They're not trying to do that. So here you are, and you're like, our headset can do all of this, but hey, listen, you're trying to do the metaverse and that's not working. Maybe you should focus on that, because that's what's called the Meta Quest. Because remember, it didn't used to be called Meta. I mean, he changed his entire company from Facebook to Meta. For what?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's a whole interesting thing. That whole face world thing. Hey, we'll see how that goes.
Hey, Piwak, I sent you a link before we go.
Okay, before.
And it ties into the whole Apple thing. I sent you a link.
No,
it's a clean link. Yeah, I sent you the fucking link. Well, guys, hit the like button. We're gonna have repeating bits, okay? I'm gonna talk about the toaster and the game and the washing machine. I'm sorry to that guy that said that he got tired of it. But
Apple Car project is reportedly dead.
Yep.
There was an Apple Car project. 10 billion.
You didn't know?
No, 10 years, billions of dollars, and multiple leadership changes later. Apple canceled Project Titan. I didn't even know. What was this about?
Apple was making a electric car. It'd be like Sony, except they were going to make it all on their own, basically.
10 years, billions of dollars, multiple leadership changes, and dozens of rumors. The Apple Car project is dead. A new report from Bloomberg, Mark Gurman, says that Apple has officially canceled the car, breaking the news to nearly 2,000 employees who have been working on it Tuesday. Prepare for more layoffs. As part of the change, Apple will move many employees working on the car to company artificial intelligence division, where they'll focus on generative AI projects, which Apple is expected to share more about later this year, according to a statement by CEO Tim Cook on the company earnings call earlier this month. But the car team has also included hundreds of hardware engineers and car designers, some of who Bloomberg reports will be able to apply for jobs in other divisions of company. The rest will likely be laid off. That's most likely the outcome. Apple has never spoken publicly about its efforts to build a vehicle, internally known as Project Titan, but a number of leaks over the years revealed the company's ambition to expand into a brand new product category it had no experience in. At the beginning of the project in 2014, Apple wanted to build fully self-driving cars without pedals or steering wheels, with a remote command center ready to take over for a driver. But in recent years, Apple reportedly pared down its ambitions. As recently as last month, new reports suggest the Apple car, which would debut in 2028, will be an electric vehicle more akin to a Tesla than something completely new. Yeah, I mean, overall, like Sony did it right. They went with a reputable car company, Honda. Like this car is it's not only its own industry, but it's also an art, right? Because a lot of people look at art, like a lot of these cars as an art design, Ferrari or Lamborghini does, right? And then there's like the car experience. Like there's still people that say Tesla is about the living experience, but it's a terrible car. Like they still they have not locked down the car experience. They got the living experience.
It's a computer on wheels.
Yeah.
It's a computer on wheels.
They got the life experience, but don't buy it because you want a good car. They say it's a terrible car. It's absolutely they haven't got the science behind the art of making a car and stuff, right? So Apple, when you told me about this, or like now, I'm like, wait a minute, Apple's gonna make a car? Like I don't know about that. They should have merged with somebody that has, like.
Apple doesn't share.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think
Apple
in this
doesn't
case,
share hardware.
Maybe get with Porsche.
They were never going to do. They were never going to collab.
They were
never say Apple need to collab with Isuzu.
Yeah, like collab with like Porsche.
You people have jokes. But yeah, so the reason I wanted to bring this into the podcast is that sometimes bringing it back to what PlayStation said, obviously this is a much bigger scale because the games did not go for billions of dollars, but sometimes these companies will commit to projects and then they will cancel them. And I think this also could speak to the future of PlayStation VR2, right? Like, do not be surprised if these companies cancel such projects, right? Because it doesn't matter how much money you've invested. When the numbers guys finally get their hands on it and are like, look, these numbers are not mathing, they are just gonna cancel it outright. Now, I am a bit sad because I think I was never I never believed in the whole you don't get pedals, you don't get a steering wheel thing. Like this thing drives itself. I never believed in that. But I did believe that the electric vehicles need another kind of shot to the arm after Tesla. And I thought that this could have been kind of like that version of it. Do you get what I mean? Like, if Apple released an electric car, even if it wasn't a successful product for like the first 10 years or whatever, it will get people to pay attention and it will bring more legitimacy to electric cars and electric vehicles as a general rule. And also, Apple is one of the few companies on earth that can actually create better battery technology because they can just literally haggle these suppliers into like improving battery technology for everybody around the world. Yeah. So that's a sad thing. That is a sad thing. But the battery was not going to be replaceable. So
probably that's it. Hey,
they were going to lock up that shit. You couldn't open a single panel.
You can't open a single panel. Even change the tires. Buy a new car.
There'll be no headphone jack in the car. There'll be no headphone jack.
Man, like you can't replace the tires.
In order to turn on the blinkers, you have to tell Siri, "Hey Siri, blink left."
Blink left. Oh,
we don't believe in stock or turn signals. We don't believe in nothing
specific
like that.
brakes, Apple specific tires.
Exactly.
Apple specific. Oh wow, that's crazy. Anyway, all right. Hey, we're gonna shut this down. Hey, let's give you a shout out. We're gonna wrap up the show.
Hey, listen, guys. Okay, Oti, we need you on the show. Okay, we're gonna try our African connection here. We're gonna work worldwide in order to bring you on the show one day. Aaron, we also need you on the show because you can't be talking all that shit in the chat and then you refuse to pull up. Like, if you want, we'll make it a whole Xbox podcast. But the point is that we need you. We need you on. Okay. Who else do we need on? Who else do we need on? Who else do we
all are welcome.
Here? All are welcome here. All are welcome. If you hear me say things that you just think, you know what, this is one of the most idiotic things I've ever heard, come on the podcast.
Challenge
and say
it.
Say it.
Say
it. Because
we
hear exactly. We hear about the learning. We'll send you the fucking link. We'll send you the fucking link.
Yep.
Okay, so you go ahead and you obviously should come. As for myself, guys, I have a channel now. I'll put the link in the chat. I'll send you the fucking link. You can also find me on Twitter. And yeah, that's basically it. So you guys go have a fantastic time, man. And to all those people that are losing their jobs, hey, I feel for you, and I hope that you find a place soon that's going to treat you better.
Just again, like I said, all you gotta do is just hit me up in Twitter, DM, be like, hey, yo, Porter Rock, can I get on the show? I'll put you on the Discord, and I gotta feel you out. Gotta make sure you're not a weirdo. Don't ask, oh, can I use the camera? No, not on your first day. Like, no, we're not gonna have penis swinging. Also, God knows what the hell you'll try to do. You know what I'm saying? I gotta filter you out. All right, and stuff
the thing is, I still don't have my camera privileges, so you have to work for it.
Looks like that.
I've been here a year.
All right. Anyway, hey, it's your only friend, YouTube Street PorterRock77. I hope you enjoyed the show. Sorry the rest of the panel couldn't be here. You know, life happens, things happen, but the show must go on. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad Extreme was able to show up. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Once again, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Share this out. We'll see you next week, and we'll see what craziness happens from here on out. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a great week. Peace.